What's going on? What's going on, Conscious crew? Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. Welcome to Consciouztv. It is your favorite breakdown commentator, Consciouztv, and I am coming to you with I am coming to you with an improv live, girl, because I was sitting here. I was doing some cleaning in my home and stuff. And I had put on this old nasty piece of interview, girl, from the Breakfast Club featuring Miss Gia Cassie. And for those of you who don't know, Miss Gia Cassie is DJ Envy's high school sweetheart, honey. His woman of a billion years, girl. His baby mother, his twin flame, girl. His soulmate, girl. You know, she all of that and things. And I discovered that she also had a podcast, which I didn't know anything about because I don't know a lot about Gia Cassie. However, I have been hearing little tidbits about this interview, okay? And of course, the parts of this interview that have gone completely viral and shook the table were the infamous remarks that Gia Cassie made about faking busting a nut with her husband for 11 years straight, okay? That she was faking her moans and her groans, and she was faking her waterfalls. Her sprinkling system wasn't quite sprinkling. Okay, so all of that came up, girl, right on national internet, girl, right on national radio, girl. And then there was other parts of this conversation that also stood out to me as well as it relates to infidelity. And I thought it was just fascinating. So before we get into the thick and the minutia of it, girl, I want you guys to go ahead and give me a nasty piece of thumbs up, child. Y'all know that thumbs up help with the algorithm. It helps YouTube to recommend, suggest the platform and all of those things, honey. That's how and why we're growing up over her. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe because if I like it, you're absolutely going to love it. Make sure that your notification bells are set to all because you never know what day or hour the king will be kanging. And if you don't mind, can you please share out to all your family, friends, Facebookers, Snapchatters, Instagram followers, girl, wherever you have a community, let them know that the king is alive and well and put it on a motherfucking show. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and run this whole nasty piece of intro, girl, and then we're just going to get right into it.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, let's speak to everybody who's in the house tonight. What's going on, sister? Sister Gardens, hey boo. And my brother, Mr. Gardens, honey, brother Gardens. Hey, I am back. Hey, Jackie Blue. What's going on, Wendy? Hi. Hey, Hernandon. Hey, Just Jean. What's going on, M Dreamer X? Hey, Lisa. What's going on, loves? Hey, everybody. Now, we're going to refer to an old nasty piece of article, girl. Then we're going to listen to an old nasty piece of audio, okay? And then I'm going to drop the link in case some of y'all want to sound off, honey, because I got a lot of women followers, honey. So I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know what the womans of the world think about some of the things that Miss Gia Cassie was getting into on the Breakfast Club, girl. Okay, what's going on, Anitra? Hey, boo. Hey, Chunky Duncan. What's going on, bro? Okay, let me pull up this old nasty piece of article to y'all. This is from Hip Hop Wired, honey. Let me share my screen here. It's some screens in this house. It's some screens in this house. Okay, girl, let's get into it, child. Okay, so the caption of Hip Hop Wire article is Twitter reacts to clip of Gia Cassie essentially saying DJ Envy delivered weak pipe. Okay, baby. See here, girl. This is DJ Envy and his wife, child, stunting, honey. It reads that DJ Envy said his wife Gia Cassie DJ Envy and his wife, Gia Cassie, have been candid about their relationship woes along with their success and did so again in a recent interview. Folks on Twitter are reacting to a portion of the talk when Cassie shared that she faked orgasms with Envy, revealing the devastating way he learned of his former weak pipe delivery. My God. Sitting down with the Shade Room, Envy and Cassie dished on the Breakfast Club host, infamously stepping outside of their union, getting things back on track as a couple, and more. However, the clip that has people talking featured Cassie saying that in order to protect her partner's ego, she would get into a little bit of a bedroom theatrics, baby. Envy, who thought he was holding things down, learned that his skills were less advanced than he previously thought after an argument between him and Cassie went left. My God, Cassie is petty. Cassie told Envy that she was indeed faking it each time, which Envy said crushed him after thinking he was, quote, Big Daddy Long Leg. Baby, I am about to fall off my damn chair. Woo, child. Twitter user fucking Dub shared the clip in question with a caption reading, quote, "Man, let his wife tell the world this," which prompted a flurry of similar responses. It should be noted that Envy and Cassie worked out all of their past issues and are working in tandem. Envy, to his credit, has owned up to his past indiscretion several times over, and it should be assumed that he and his wife have worked out the bedroom kinks. On Twitter, the reactions are all over the place as expected, and we've got views from all sides listed out below, girl. So, one Twitter user by the name of Ice Spice Butt Sweat, girl, these names, captioned, let his wife tell the world this, baby. Another one tweeted, Gia, when DJ Envy put the tip in, and this is an audio of Alicia Keys wailing. DJ Envy is so light-skinned, Jay Sand said on Twitter. Zola Pals tweeted, DJ Envy, did you come, baby? Gia, Lil Wayne. Kika Archer from Twitter posted, DJ Envy wife be like, my God, okay. Local Sun Comptroller tweeted, DJ Envy already lost when he said he hears his wife reaching orgasm. Real ones know you gonna see it and feel it. Jesus. Okay. Twitter user Hipster wrote, DJ Envy wife admitted he never made her orgasm. It's so embarrassing, but they're an embarrassing couple, so what's new? Cringy. Twitter user We Yum caption, Jesus and Murra warming up to light DJ Envy up, baby, for the dragulations of the dragulations. Okay, Twitter user Bayo Bond wrote, only thing D Wade and DJ Envy has taught me is if your woman catch you cheating, break up with them. Okay, Twitter user Trivens wrote, DJ Envy wife and DJ Khaled wife be suffering. Neither of them know the way around a pussy. They DJs, but they scratching the wrong shit. Baby! Another Twitter user wrote, if DJ Envy wanted to fight Jesus and Murra over that Envy checks joke, imagine how he feels logging into Twitter today. Baby, another Twitter user wrote, so let's just get this straight. DJ Envy gets to cheat on his wife and give out subpar dick. Like, make this make sense. Another one wrote, DJ Envy's wife wouldn't know. Okay? Somebody else wrote, DJ Envy support stop and risk. I could care less about his marriage. Someone else wrote, even a blind man could see that DJ Envy had trash dick. Why are people surprised, baby? And it just goes on and on and on and on. Now, I want y'all to remember that part, baby. Okay? I want y'all to remember that part just a little bit because it all works in sync together, okay? I want to run a little piece of audio, girl. Let me put up my disclaimer because I ain't got time, honey. Okay, I ain't got the time, girl. Hold on. Let me run my disclaimer, bitch. Disclaimer, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Okay, we're just gonna listen to a few seconds from the Breakfast Club, Graw, and listen to DJ Envy, Charlemagne the God, and Gia Cassie. Okay. Whoopsie. What am I doing? Okay, stop sharing. Wow. Let me pull up a picture of this couple as you guys listen to this audio, girl. Because, baby, it's the tings. It's the tings for me. Okay? Okay, you guys, listen to this old nasty piece of article, child. I mean, this old nasty piece of audio. Come do all the romance. Here it is. Okay. All right, you guys listen now. Put in your headphones, child.
It was difficult. I had to relive a lot of the F-boy ish I put you through.
Okay, so well, a little context. At this point in the interview, they're talking about the book that that DJ Envy and his wife wrote together, and Gia was talking about how there were certain things as it relates to the book, which was about their life and their marriage and their relationship, that kind of it was difficult for DJ Envy. And then DJ Envy begins to talk and speak about some of those things being the infidelity and the things that he's put Gia through. Okay, so that's where we're beginning at, Gra. Let me put it on normal speed. Okay, listen.
You forget about a lot of it because you don't have to relive it. But then when you start,
no, you forget about a lot of it.
You ain't forget.
I ain't forget nothing.
Well, I think as men, that's the point, though, right? Because it's like we don't realize how much we do hurt our women when we do
Is that
those things.
true, though?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we realize how deep that.
That sounds like an okie doke to me.
No, I don't think until you actually sit down and have those, uncomfortable conversations, you don't realize how much you affected
if
your
your wife cheated on you and told you that she would have no idea how much that it stood to hurt you, would that make sense to you?
Probably not, but I mean, men don't make sense.
You believe that? You believe that you're born inherently with like a deficit.
Not a deficit, but I just don't think
common sense.
I don't think we're thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like that's the sad part.
It's selfish,
and that's what keeps you from doing it in the future. You know what I mean? Because you do not want to hurt the woman that you love, and it's so crazy because I saw that with.
Okay, girl. So y'all just heard, girl. So this is interesting to me, specifically because I talk a lot on this platform about men and women in this country being socialized very differently from one another. And it was just so funny because this was like the receipt of all receipts when it comes to those conversations that I be having and those talking points that I be making as it relates to like the way that patriarchy has conditioned and socialized men and the way that patriarchy has conditioned and socialized women. And here it is. You have men who don't even understand their own socialization. And the interesting thing about it is that this conditioning is so deep in men that they actually, like, because they have no other reference for why they do the things that they do, they conclude that this must be a part of male nature. This must be a part of the man's nature to cheat. This must be just to procreate, to swing and bang his dick around, okay? And I am just like, wow, okay? So Charlemagne is here making the argument that from what I gather, he just feels that it's a difference in the sexes. It's just men. And even when Gia was like, "Bruh, so are you saying that you're born this way with a deficit?" You're like, no, not deficit, because I don't want to say that us getting as much puss in one lifetime is necessarily a deficit, but definitely may be a part of one's own damn nature, okay? So I can't imagine that women, I mean, I know why women put up with this shit because it comes with the package of patriarchy. But at the same time, I can't imagine that women put up with not only chronic infidelity from tired, sorry ass niggas, no matter whether they rich or poor, which is why all that shit that Kevin Samuels be teaching goes out of the window, because even when you get high valued men, honey, the only thing high valued about them is they wallet, honey. They dick is still subpar, honey. And I got to put up with not only you fucking off on me with other bitches, but the dick you got the nerve to fuck off on me on ain't even worth all that for you to be sticking and licking and shoving into another woman's private region, that you got the unmitigated gall to take this weak ass dick that I'm already putting up, taking one for the whole women's community, and you got the nerve to brutalize the rest of women with this soft ass dick. You got to make it make sense. Now we got C. Marie. Welcome to the platform, and got my big sis Oz to the platform. Well,
hey.
Hey, everybody. Hey, CTV.
This is sad.
Hey, child. What? Girl,
Sad.
That's sad.
get into it, honey. Somebody tell what's going on.
Here's my question. If all the other chicks that he was cheating with, would they all come out and say the same thing, that they never had an orgasm with him either, and he was just a lousy ass lover? Would all of them say the same thing?
I would say yes.
That's a good question.
I would say
That's
yes.
a good question.
If any of those women come out and say that they orgasmed with him, then that would be an even bigger slight to his wife, because that means you took the time and consideration to know this other woman's body and not your wife's body.
Wow. So what do y'all think about the issue of, because I know that's definitely been a running conversation like amongst the women's community, is like faking it during sex. And I think it's interesting that Gia specifically said that there are things, I mean, and all of us who date men, have sex with men, whether that's gay men or black women, know that niggas, whether they gay or straight, cisgendered or trans, have motherfucking egos. And it's funny that she spoke about how there are things that you do to spare the male ego. And I think it's funny that we actually are under the impression that we actually have to protect men from their faults, or protect or to shield men from the reality of themselves, which only actually reinforces a false sense of grandiosity and a false sense of security and a false sense of excellence. And I guess as you guys being women on the panel, like when y'all heard Gia saying this, like, has this shown up in y'all own experience?
Oh, of course. And you know what? Remember, they got together she was 15 when they got together, and he's the only man she's ever been with, which is another reason why I think men like younger women, because I think all women, especially when we're younger, we're not, as empowered or as comfortable with our femininity to tell a man like, hey, I really didn't get nothing out of that. I'm happy you had fun, but I didn't, I didn't get where I needed to be. And so she said that was the way their relationship was for 10 years. And they got together at 15. So it wasn't until she was like 25 until she really was probably had a conversation with him like, look, it ain't hitting where it's supposed to be hitting. And I think that's kind of normal for women. Like, when you're 25, you're getting more into your femininity. You know what I'm saying? You getting to know yourself more. Because I think for women, even at such a young age, is like, we don't even really know, what we really like yet. Unless you have a partner where both of you guys are like willing to explore be like, okay, what really gets you off? What really gets him off? I don't know. I think it just may be normal.
Okay. Okay, I have a question for the both of y'all after Oz responds to that same question.
Yeah, I can't say the same for me only because I already knew how to make
your man
myself.
sitting right next to you.
Oh no, I wouldn't fake it. I'm gonna tell if I don't bust one, I'm gonna tell this nigga. He gonna know I didn't bust one. Hey, nigga, get on it. That's not happening. I'm not. My voice isn't gonna be killed with that. But I was gonna say I knew early on how to make myself orgasm. Hell, I was scooting my ass up under the doggone the thing in the shower. I was scooting myself up under there, making myself come at an early age. So I already knew what the hell it was to have an orgasm. So when I was with the dude, I wasn't trying to spare no niggas' feelings. If I didn't have one and you had one, we were gonna have a problem. You need to get to work. This ain't gonna be no one-sided thing happening here.
Don't you think that's two different type of orgasms to me though? When you're by yourself and when you with a dude.
Well, it's different. It's different depending on your connection with the dude. Now, I'll say this: the connection that I have with my husband, the orgasms that I've had with him are not going to be the same or compared to anything that I've ever experienced with anybody else because there's an emotion there that's totally different. Right. So when I have an orgasm with him, there's a connection. There's a soul connection right there. It's a totally different thing. I damn near black out when that's happening. It's a different type of situation. With other people, it was just I get mine and get on with it, but I wasn't connected to nobody like that. So that's a different thing. For her to be with him since she was 15 years old and him to have not even taken the time to think about knowing, did you, or even ask the question, you never stopped to ask. When me and my husband first got together, this man would not come unless I came.
Amen.
Even if it was a quickie, even when it was a quickie,
That's
and I'm like, just
right there.
I'm like, don't worry about it. You just get yours. We can get mine later. He's like, if you don't come, I ain't coming. That's exactly how he was.
God bless.
That's why I brought up her being so young. Like, if they weren't having those type of conversations, and then I don't know how much he was really around, if he was really on the road a lot, trying to get the bag or whatever. But yeah, now that you said that, it's not very considering that they were so committed to one another. Like, damn, you was in a committed relationship, like you had emotional ties to him, and you wasn't getting nothing.
Oh, and guess what? Hold on, y'all. Like, this is so funny, right? And because this is in tandem to yesterday's conversation that we had around Zaya Wade and her boyfriend and them having a teenage love affair. And here it is. I forgot to mention this in yesterday's conversation. And it's funny how we just accidentally ran right into it. We forgot that so many couples today were high school sweethearts, have been dating since 8th grade, been dating since freshman year of high schools, have been romantically entangled and nurturing a relationship since they were teenagers. So this whole thing, once again, about kids need to be kids, that's like the reality of people having a desire to be with other people, be attracted to people, especially after puberty hits. Like, that's just something that's a part of the human experience. And many married couples today got their beginnings as high school sweethearts. But I was going to ask you women as well, how important, because I have a lot of homegirls. I come from a large female family, etc. Boom, boom, boom. And it seems to me also that, like, the senses that I get from some women is that women are able to be sexually satisfied even without climax. How important would y'all say an orgasm is in a sexual experience? Like, are y'all able to walk away from a sexual experience satisfied even if you didn't orgasm? Like, if a man just really, like, he worked you didn't reach an orgasm, but you got worked in that session. You got tossed and head banged, and you got he was hitting all the right buttons, but you didn't, he wasn't chasing no waterfalls. But are you still able to be like satisfied?
Yeah, because you know what, like, I've been on your platform a couple of times, and a couple of times I've mentioned, like, we live in a world of extremes, right? People don't know it's a spectrum to everything. It's a spectrum to the orgasm. Like, you got the leg shaking, about to bite your own lip off, calling for God type, and then you got the just the real sensual, like foreplay, role play, word talk that'll get you off too.
Mhm.
So it just depends on what you're doing and where you want to go.
Mm.
I'd say women are a lot more complicated when it comes to that because it isn't all just a physical thing. It is mental and emotional and everything else. So we have levels, like she said, it's levels to it. I don't think there's ever been a time where I haven't had an orgasm while I've been with my husband, even if it wasn't one where I had to call on God and thought I was about to
Right,
leave here
right.
type of orgasm.
Mhm.
there's levels to it. And it's not all, and everything that we do doesn't always lead to the bedroom either. There's plenty of flirting.
Right.
We still flirt with each other. He'll still just come up behind me and kiss the back of my neck so that I have shivers going down my spine and that type of stuff. He just likes to see that he still has that effect on me. So he'll tease me a lot. This over here, he a clit tease.
That's
That's
what
what
I
he is.
call. That's what I call.
Ooh, I like them
That's
type.
what I call a sexual exorcism.
I like them
Conducted,
type.
conducted through the art of sextivities. Now, I have heard women speak about like, and I think that y'all kind of mentioned it just now a little bit. Like, there's like some women talk about like an internal orgasm, and then there's like the externalized orgasm, which is
Yes.
the gushing and squirting and skeeting and everything else. So what's the difference? Like when a woman says I had an internal orgasm, what is that? Is that I guess that's the sensation without the physical like without
Well,
the manifestation of the physicalness? I don't know. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I don't understand the internal part because you're gonna secrete externally no matter what, right?
oh
So when they say
yeah.
internal,
Now
do they
I assume,
mean
Marie, that secretion is kind of like different, right, from what happens during like climax. I'm assuming that all women reasonably get wet because they are aroused and will start the drip. But is that a different type of drip than the
Yeah, it
average?
is.
oh yeah,
It's
yes.
different.
So I think
Okay.
I know what you're talking about. Then
Mhm.
that's what I was saying about the levels to orgasm because I can orgasm without penetration, without somebody touching me. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? Just talking dirty or we watching porn together,
Mhm.
or something like that. Like, yeah, it'll definitely get me there. It'll be a totally different type, but yeah, it can leave you satisfied. It'll get you where you want to be for the moment until later, or shit, maybe that's all y'all want to do for the day. Save the theatrics for another day.
Yeah,
Mm.
if you're lucky enough to be with someone where you have the emotional and the mental connection with them, then they can definitely make you have an orgasm without having to touch you.
Yes, ma'am.
Most
Okay, so
definitely.
that are y'all saying that orgasms, at least for women, are probably more like it's a higher percentage of mental stimulation and emotional stimulation than it
Oh
is
yeah, because
physical?
a man
Mm.
could be touching me in all the right places, but if there's something about this nigga that just isn't vibing with me, I'm not going to have an orgasm. It's not gonna
Girl,
happen.
you too.
It is
Look, that's when I
not
know the
gonna
relationship is
happen.
over. That's when I know
Yeah,
it's
it's just
over. Like
done. Uh-huh.
you
Mm.
sweating, breaking your back, and I'm just there like, nigga, when are you done? Like I know that
Yes.
we need to go to
Yeah,
therapy or we need to break up.
Not therapy. My God.
it's done. It's all over. It's just you might as well. Now there've been a couple of niggas that when something like that happened, okay, you know what? Let me hook you up with my girl over here. I've done that.
Right.
Amen, honey. Now that's what I call women's empowerment, honey. Spread the wealth and spread the men's. I want to welcome
Hey,
EB to the platform and Ty to the platform. FB, are you there, boo?
Hey, Conscious.
Hey,
Yes, I'm
boo.
here. Hey,
Welcome to the
ladies.
platform. Hey,
hey.
everybody.
Mhm.
What are y'all thoughts about women faking orgasms? Because I want to get into the infidelity portion too, but I guess we'll dive first into this orgasm thing. What do you think about the whole faking orgasm situation?
Oh, I think it's so horrible. I think it's so sad. I've been in a situation where I was like that. Me and my dude had a conversation the other day about it. Have I had to fake it? And I had a guy who I was dating, little shrimp, little shrimp. And I just liked him so much and was in love, I guess. And yeah, every time I never could become penetrated. Like he would always make sure orally I was satisfied, but when it would come to the actual penetration, which is what I really enjoy, it was very short, and it was just like I'm gonna stick beside him. That's it.
He minds and I'm a
I'm gonna stick beside him.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
But you know, every woman's body is different. Some women don't orgasm off of penetration. Some women like clit pleasure more than penetration.
Yeah, I like penetration. I mean, I'm cool with stimulation, but I like penetration.
Oh, so
Okay.
he really just wasn't working.
Oh, girl, yeah, I was
I like it all. I can have an orgasm from anal penetration.
Wow.
That's
I
because,
want to try that.
that's because you were a porn star in a previous incarnation. Okay. That's why you can do all that masterful stuff, okay? Now, speaking of anal sex, I should introduce something that's on that y'all about. But before we do that, Ty, welcome to the platform, boo. What do you think about
Can you hear me?
faking it? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes,
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay. Welcome to the platform, boo. What do you think about Gia or Guy? Is it Gia? What's her name? Is it Gia?
Gia. It's Gia.
Yeah.
Okay, Gia. Yeah. What do you think about her talking about like pretty much faking it so that your man can make it in the relationship? Would you fake an orgasm consistently just to keep your man
For
from
11
feeling?
years, that's dedication.
That is dedication.
I mean, I was married for 7 years, and I'll say my Ghanaian man's member was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. So, it was never an issue. And I call it sessions that we would have. So yeah, I think she should have been honest from the beginning. And also, I mean, like, even in your session, communicate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Communication.
That's paramount, so that you let him know, like, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. If he's hitting a good spot, let him know. And it could be like a teaching or a learning curve for the other person.
Now, I know that Oz and C. Marie spoke about like two types of orgasms, like which is the kind, like the orgasm you get from actual penetration, and then the other orgasms that you can get from mental and physical touch and rubbing and caressing and oral and all of that good stuff too. When it comes to the orgasm that comes from penetration, does size actually matter, or is it a way for even a man who's of average size to can make a woman have an orgasm?
If the chemistry is there, if the connection is there, it's possible to really connecting, and you don't need to have, like, to me, I don't need to have a lot of girth and everything, but if the connection is there, I mean, it could still be explosive. Honestly, I ain't trying to stretch out my pocketbook.
Right. I like girth over length. And just because a dude has
I'm just
big
saying.
package, that don't mean he know how to work it. 'Cause, like, some dudes
Exactly.
equate sex to pain. Like, they just be trying to beat it. Like, I got walls. Like, there's organs and tissues and stuff in there. Like, calm down.
Right. Now you know that it's only it's like 5 inches in. That's all it's supposed to be in the first place with a woman. So I mean, they always tell you anything more than 5 inches is extra. So if the person that you with happens to
6 or
be
7, but I mean,
if the person you're with is blessed, and they don't know how to work it, then yeah, all you're going to do is experience pain. It ain't gonna feel good if they're not,
Right.
if all they're doing is pounding it and they don't know what they're doing.
To me, like to just jump to straight pounding, that's a total turn off for me.
Yeah, I know. We have there's lots and lots of foreplay. Lots of foreplay. And foreplay can start in the morning and last all damn day until you get to the evening, to be completely honest.
Listen.
Yeah.
That'd be
I'm
the
not
best, though.
I'm not a size queen either. Like, I mean, a good solid 7 is nice for me. I don't need to Ty's point, I don't need my pussy stretched from east to west. Like, that's not necessary. But
And I also don't need my damn vocal cords damaged either. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just, I like average. I'm not looking for no mandingo oversized. I'd rather girth more than length anyway. But yeah, it's just too much. It's just too much.
Too much. There's a such thing as too much. Okay, now Oz has spoke about anal. How do the rest of the women feel about anal penetration? Have y'all tried that? Do y'all also enjoy anal penetration,
I'm
etc.?
open to it. I'm open to it when I get married.
And what makes you open to it?
Because child. Well, you gonna have Lord. Okay. You know,
telling all your business.
You can. You're right. You know, you get a little play back there. It's a little play back there, but not a lot. So, you know, I want to know what that feels like. I'm open to that.
It feels amazing, and
it does feel amazing. And let me tell you something. When you can get your husband to use a toy on you at the same time while he's anally penetrating you, and you can have it going in both at the same time. Woo!
That sounds very fun. That sounds fun.
It is, and men like vibrators too, especially when y'all having sex. It's just who wouldn't like that sensation?
I don't know why the men who are straight men who are totally against letting a woman play around their ass really don't understand what they're missing out on. Now, my husband wasn't for it when we first got together. It was something I had to ease him into the idea of it. But once I got him to go with the flow, he loved it. He loves it. A man's G-spot is in their ass. Right. That's the strongest orgasm a man can have. Trust me. Get him to let you stick your finger up in there while you riding that and see how hard he comes.
Now, let me tell you about when a man is when his prostate is stimulated during orgasm. If you're gonna do that to your man, you might need to be prepared to not have sex for a week, because that is like a man gonna have a quality orgasm when he orgasms while his prostate is stimulated. So he gonna be good for a minute on sex, because that's gonna empty. That's a
drain.
Releases. He gonna be good.
You also better be prepared to need some medical assistance for your damn self, because this nigga done tried to pull my back all the way off, all the skin off my back and everything.
My God. Wow. What's going on, information man? Hey, Blue Phoenix. Hey, y'all. What's going on? Hey, Willis Parker. Hey, Mrs. M. Hey, Jace. So enough about hoes, okay? So Gia also talked about this whole little interview is fascinating to me, because it opens up a whole conversation around also infidelity and the way men and women are socialized. But she also said, so the book, they've talked openly about their relationship and also spoke about DJ Envy's previous infidelities and things. That it kind of smashes the old saying that once a cheater, always a cheater because apparently DJ Envy had multiple affairs. However, they got through all their bullshit and have been on the straight and narrow for a very, 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 very long time. What do y'all think about that saying that once a cheater, always a cheater? Would y'all allow y'all man to redeem himself even if he cheated like more than once? Because I know like first time to charm, second time you might be like, okay, no. But what do y'all think about the women who endure this and kind of journey with their men through what can be for some men a cheating phase? I guess there's like chronic cheaters, and then there's like circumstantial cheating, like we're having difficult times type cheating. I work a lot, that leads to cheating, or you don't have a high sex drive, that leads to cheating, or like it's not necessarily in a desire for other women, but maybe like other variables that complicate the sex life, like a sex life. But just what do y'all think, C. Marie? Like starting with you, like what do you think about, like, would you be open to a man forgiving a man a few times?
I don't know about a few times because it speaks to character more than anything. Because I'm gonna say, and I can't speak for all women, but for some women, it's not even really about the act of cheating. It's all the BS around it. Like, you've been lying to me this whole time. You've been sneaking around. I don't know how safe you've been with this person. Like, your character to me is just shot. Like, can I really trust you? Now I got a question every time you say you're going to get milk, or you really going down the street to see Carol or whoever. Like, I don't. And in this situation, in Gia's case, like, or in any case, like, you would really have to show me like super changed behavior, like clean up your whole entire character. Like, you doing a character overhaul, then yes. But if not, then the cheating was just an act. It's just a tool of bad character. You know what I'm saying? You upset, so you want to go out there and throw our whole relationship away. Like, what type of character and morals and ethics do you have to do that? And then you're gonna lie to me to my face, make me feel crazy. It's a lot that comes with it. But I feel like in her situation, a man of his means, should women expect it? Like, because he has so much temptation. Even with that, it goes back to character for me. Like,
I wonder if what had to do with their particular situation is like they started so young, and maybe she took that into consideration, that he's working out all of his kinks in this one relationship. She didn't catch him later on in life after he had went through the 20-year-old phase, the wild and young phase. They've been together, especially all of their adult life for sure. So I wonder if that played into like her just being kind of open-minded. And then she talked a lot in the interview as well about how powerful the friendship element is. So when you find somebody who you also can be friends with, the friendship is equal to the romance. That probably has a lot to do with your consideration of the person. Because I think by her, like, she actually likes her husband. She's not just in love with him. She likes him. She enjoys all of their little nuanced dynamics. And when I think about like what friendship is, to me, I think anybody any two people who can achieve friendship together probably have the capacity to, I don't want to say disconnect from the romantic part, but they can be compartmentalized. They're able to like step away from the romantic part and just look at their partner as a person. Like, this is my friend, and we can have the capacity to communicate. We can have the capacity to have hard conversation, because there's not all this pressure to be performative in this like girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband dynamic, that we can just be two people like working life out together too. And I think maybe that's what's so like why even relationship counselors really focus a lot on the development of friendship between couples, because this is going to be like a saving grace, especially through hard times.
And I agree, but you know what? The only confusing part about that to me is her not orgasming, because I think it's a slew of things. I think, yes, she took into consideration that they've been together since they were 15 and 16, and she should. I'm sure she took into account that she got a lot of children with this Negro. Like, that's hard to walk away from. He's not the average man. He can provide and protect in the way that it's going to be hard for her to find a guy like that. And he's well connected in their world or whatever. So it's going to be harder for her to find a man. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. Like, he's a little corny, but I don't see him like as one of those super dusty guys. You know what I'm saying? Like she was saying, he a little controlling or whatever, but I just don't see him as a horrible person. I'm sure she took that into account. But the only thing I'm like, if she loved him so much, like, you weren't orgasming at all, was that an exaggeration, or it was some type of disconnect there for her that she wasn't feeling him mentally enough to not get off? Because like I get off just looking at him sometimes.
Well, maybe it wasn't her, it was him. Like it's like he like she had the capacity to get there, but he just didn't. Like he just wasn't working. He wasn't long stroking that thing right. He just maybe being too much of a masculine, a toxic masculine force in the bedroom, like ram, thank you, ma'am. Like not even really taking time to learn his woman's body. And like she said, she admitted, I also, for whatever reason, felt I had to protect him from his ego. So I think when it comes to that.
But this is what I'm saying. If she loves him as much as she promotes to the public, and I'm not saying that she doesn't, because I can't tell her what she feels. Like we all been saying, women, we are very emotionally tied to everything, especially sex. So if he was all that and more, why not even a sight of him would get her up? Like I could look at my dude and have a slick orgasm real quick because I want that nigga that much because he a good dude. So why wasn't she like? I wonder if that was an exaggeration when she was like, I never orgasmed. If she meant that in like the extreme sense, like she never made my legs shake, never made me want to bite my lip off.
I think that's what she meant. Is that
well, no, when you,
I never created.
If
like,
you think about it, he was being
give the Nile River situation, but that's why I asked y'all in the beginning too, like how women also, because even Oz has said that like for some women don't have to necessarily orgasm to be satisfied after sex. So maybe she, even though she wasn't orgasming, she still was for the most part having a satisfying sexual experience with her husband. Like, I mean, he was hitting that thing. She wasn't climaxing, but they were having a good time doing what they were doing. She just never got to the epitome of the climax.
Don't tell me he gonna end up laying hands. I'm telling me he gonna end up laying hands because they telling the business. But no, like she said, they have a lot of kids together. That's one thing, and the kids, you know, they've been together for a really long time. Me being married at a young age and having, multiple, like 6 kids from the marriage, it is not easy to just walk away. At the end of the day, y'all gonna forever have that bond. Y'all gonna forever one day have to call 3:00 in the morning because something going on or whatever the case. But I mean, if she ever really had one at all by him, that may hold some weight.
Well, I don't know. You don't have to have an orgasm for a baby to be formed.
Right.
I'm wondering if they ever even talk about it. You know?
I'm saying
I don't think they did until the argument led to disclosure, and then that opened up probably conversations around what her needs are
Right.
sexually, and then they probably were able to improve upon things from there. Because she said they're good now. I guess she busting nuts now, you know. But and that's why I brought up the societal thing, because I think it's interesting how under this patriarchal construct, like, this woman felt like it was her inherent duty to protect a man's ego, something that a lot of women
Yes, a lot of women
believe
do
that
that.
they should do and are supposed to do.
I think the ego, and plus, probably having to explain for the kids that, how could you even say like this the reason, like after all those children?
And I wonder if
I
she orgasming now because she feels like he isn't cheating, because that could be a mental blockage for her. Because you can't tell me that all that time she thought he never cheated on her, being in the industry that he's in. Like, come on.
No, she literally said, I didn't tell him because of him. There's something that she was dealing with as a woman that just made her feel like she couldn't really
ruin his ego, or
just
hurt his feelings like that.
And it's so funny, and maybe it's and now that I'm thinking about the reality is, like, maybe women deep down know that men's sense of self is that fragile.
Oh yeah, we know.
Well, that's where that's why I'm asking about, in many relationships, people are couples. They don't discuss, maybe because they're afraid or whatever. They don't discuss what it is they desire from their partner in bed. I mean, to me, if you're going to sleep with somebody, it's okay to lay your soul, if you will, bare, to talk about what it is you desire in lovemaking, especially if you're not being satisfied. And I know that there are men, I think men know when they have not satisfied their woman. I've often said, if a man has to ask you, did you come? Then he knows he didn't do jack. He knows you didn't come.
I don't see how they don't know.
They do know. They do
the
know
sounds and the words. They don't feel that.
They do know, because you can tell
Well, if they've never made a woman come, they wouldn't know.
A woman's body that is in orgasm is like obvious. You feel it. And so these men know that they're not satisfying, but they ask that silly question because they want the woman to lie about it, or to tell him that, he's the greatest lover ever, instead of just really being honest and sitting down and not having conversations that are hurtful, but the conversations that are just real. Like, this is how I like to be kissed. This is how I like to be touched. And what are there things that you would desire for me to do in our lovemaking? I think a lot of times within couples and within relationships, there just isn't enough courage or honesty about what you would desire your lover or your partner. I mean, last night I admitted that I was having fun having sex. I enjoyed it a great deal, but I did not orgasm. I did not know what an orgasm was until my female lover gave me that. And it became like, it became the standard. It has to happen. I must be satisfied.
Gotta happen.
So that's the thing.
Do y'all
just to put a little pin like right there in what Jace is saying, like that, I think is what, because even some of the women here have said that that like woman's body is complex, and so you have instances, to the darkness's point, they feel wetness and think that's the goal. So a dumbass privileged nigga under patriarchy who already was afforded the liberty of not having to learn your body, afforded to make the sexual experience all about his gratification, also knows very little about really what's going on with you. And then with the issue of the way women's body is set up, like, women can get wet, that still does not imply orgasm, even
No.
though
I
there
was
is
gonna say that.
moisture
doesn't.
Right.
and all of that. And so I think because like I want to tell y'all, I know that y'all think men know more than what they do. I'm telling you, as a man, men are dumb. Men
Yes, they
are
are.
stupid.
Yeah, because they're allowed to be. They are allowed to be.
We don't require them to be. I
Society doesn't require them.
sometimes I wished I could just sometimes talk. I have a godmother who told me, my godmother told me she had never had an orgasm. This was several years ago when we were talking openly about it. And I said, well, maybe you need to get a girlfriend. I mean, I said, you've been with these men and you don't, I said, you have never experienced an orgasm. I just feel so badly for you.
I can't.
I'm not laughing, but
I do, because it's part of the whole experience, and I know what it feels like to be excited to see your lover, that it could be just a look and your body begins to respond.
Yeah.
By
Yeah, the
them
response
looking
for
at
me.
you, or
yes.
it can be just a simple touch. It doesn't have, it can be the way they touch your hand or the way they lay their hand on your shoulder. Your
Yeah.
body begins to respond. And I think sometimes men don't, first of all, they don't understand the importance and the beauty of foreplay. You know, I can
Yes.
tell
Yeah,
by
they
the way
definitely lack
somebody,
it.
if a person cannot kiss me, then we can go no further. Kissing to
Right.
me is one of the most intimate things you can do with a person, because I mean there's you're sharing there. And if you don't know how to kiss me, if you want to come at me like a lizard with that busy ass tongue, or you want to watch mouth, if you don't know how to kiss me, we are done. We are done. Now, if
I
you
believe.
really like a person, you can, if you really want to be with them and you really feel something for this, for me, I have to feel it, then you can talk to them and teach them how to kiss you.
True, I've
Because
taught.
chances
Yeah.
are they're going to enjoy it just as much, because also our relationships are based on we get excited when our partners get excited.
Mm-hmm.
So you show someone how you desire to be kissed or touched or stimulated, it's going to stimulate them. And I think because it stimulates them. You know,
Yep.
they're
Right.
going to be delighted about that. You
And
know,
it's like you teaching them something new.
yeah.
They
So
like.
CTV, you hear everything she just said. That's why it's
Yeah.
hard for me to believe that she was so in love with him and never had an orgasm.
But I'm gonna
Because
tell you, but to that point,
I
Steve
agree,
Marie.
Jesse.
But to that point, Steve Marie. I mean, so I deem women as the like natural empaths of the earth. I think this is why it's easier for women to play the submissive role and to be nurturers. And so hearing some women say that their satisfaction also comes from seeing their partner satisfied, that's a very empathic trait, that I get off to your happiness. I get off to your fulfillment as well. So I can live vicariously through you being satisfied with me, you know? And so there are women who maybe to Gia's point, who may have been doing that for 11 years. Well, this is somebody I really love. I love his personality. We have a great thing. The sex is good. I'm not orgasming. And he's walking away satisfied. So I'm satisfied. I can live with that until I can't live with it. And I remember, like, even in my own sex life, I never obligated my partners to bring me the comics. So there was a lot of I had my fair share of sex with my boyfriends that didn't always result in my orgasm and me orgasming, and yet I was still very much so happy, because just to Jazzy's point, it really didn't matter if I got off. My partner was satisfied. I was satisfied. So and the experience itself was still very fun. It was still a turn up when we got together. But he got there faster, and that was fine for me. So I don't know if it's a question around her love, because it didn't matter much to me either.
Let me ask y'all something.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, okay.
Do an orgasm for you ladies, do it necessarily has to be from that kind of penetration, or could it be like basically the way the person make you feel, or they may walk up behind you and blow on your neck, or
No, I don't need penetration.
that's
Yeah,
what okay.
we
That's
had
what
we
I'm
I
talked
don't
saying.
need
about
it
this
either.
already. We
That's what
don't
I'm
need it.
saying.
I
don't
love
need penetration
oral.
either.
You have to be able to use your mouth like a surgeon.
Now see, my
And
now
then
see,
I want penetration.
Mm-hmm.
You know
well,
what
yeah,
else I think
that's
it,
why
it
we can go
was
so much
though?
longer.
I think that Ante made a great point too. Is like how many, like, just like men are stupid and don't really know shit about women's body. They only know that theirs go in women's bodies.
That's the issue.
I think that to Oz's point, there's a lot of women don't know a lot about their own
Well,
body, and this
that's
goes
right.
back.
That's
And this
very
goes back
true.
to and this goes back to the conversation that we was even having yesterday about Zaya Wade and all of that, and how like you never taught anything about your, especially not as a teenager, especially not from your parents, and then you kind
Now,
of get out
now
here and
see,
start, and then
Right.
you get out here
now
and just
see,
start.
You have the
Hold on,
talk.
y'all, hold on, because
You have the
then
talk.
you get out here and you start
Yeah.
participating in the act, and then you just take whatever information is coming from that surface experience. Because like it's interesting talking about this, because there was a red table talk between Jada and Willow, and Jada got a lot of pushback because she admitted that she taught her daughter how to masturbate.
Her grandmother taught her.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard that.
and that her mother taught her, etc. And so maybe a lot of women, like to Jazzy's point, Jazzy pussy was living its best life until that thing shot water, and she was like, "What? This been up in here the whole time?" Like Jazzy didn't even know that her pussy had superpowers. So like how many women just don't know? They don't.
But can I
Until they know.
can I say something?
Yes.
I mean, sometimes you have men who don't like to be taught. So like,
Ooh, that's a fact.
you try to teach them. This is how you do it. This is what we like, and they are like, I know what I'm doing, and that's the end of it. I'm done. I'm cutting you off.
And you know what? I think that's DJ Envy. I think she was slick, scared of him. Not
Yeah.
scared in the sense that he would hit her, but scared that he has a huge ego. You heard the interview. She was like, she couldn't go nowhere by herself. She couldn't have social media.
Wow.
The one time she went somewhere by herself, this nigga charged the club, threw her over his shoulder, and dragged her up out of there. Like, I think she knew him enough to know, like, my man has a huge ego. If I try to tell him that he ain't satisfying me,
in the bed, he's shutting that down.
Wow,
Yep.
you know,
And
I have found, gosh, I began my interest in sex when I used to love to clean out my mother's closets and arrange her clothes and shoes, and I found her erotic book collection. And I began to read. I couldn't wait till they left home so I could.
Me too.
So I learned about myself.
Child and magazines.
I learned about myself.
Yeah.
But I have found that sometimes, and you can. This is just my experience. Men who think they know everything, when they are put in a submissive position, okay, we're going to play a game tonight. I'm going to bind you with something silky. I'm going to blindfold you. And if you touch me, then we're not going any further. Sometimes men will submit, and the tension of not being able to touch you until you say it's okay is very exciting to them. So you often hear about powerful men or men who enjoy going who are really into S&M and bondage and discipline. It's not about the sex for them as much as it is to be rendered helpless.
Yeah.
It's the release of having to be in control all the time. I used to be a phone sex operator.
Yeah.
Hold on, Oz.
Yeah, I was a no taboo phone sex operator, so I talked about everything.
Girl, you better shine. You better shine.
Everything. And some of the stuff that men be into that they don't want to tell their spouses and significant others, I done heard every freaky deaky thing. Lord,
can I tell y'all something? I mean, I'm a Libra. What I like to do is
I'm a Libra.
So am I.
Oh,
I
who's
am
a Libra?
I'm a Libra.
Jazzy Jace.
Oh snap!
Ooh, I got a weird relationship with Libras.
Oh God. Okay, so I'm juggling 3 Scorpios. One I've been in contact since I was 18.
Ty.
Huh?
I'm a Scorpio as well.
I love Scorpio.
Oh mercy. See, and listen. This is why I painted my damn floor in my kitchen, in my house.
Right.
My new house, and I had to get that. What's that stuff called? Goo be going or whatever to clean. Because when I first heard you, I was going crazy. I was going ham. I painted the walls. I painted the floors, and I came downstairs. I said, "What the fuck?"
I was living my best life with a Scorpio. Stop playing.
Look, I had some Cali red. I said, "Oh my God, no." He is a hot. He is something else.
Scorpios and Libras are good together, but the Libra man, oh my God, I can't do it.
I can't.
Libra what do Libras do?
Libra men. Oh no.
Yeah,
Libra ladies.
Not jive.
I can't do it.
Now, Conscious.
But
to
no,
your
Conscious,
to the question you had asked.
I think that Ty was about to go into the Libra. All right, I mean the Scorpio, her relationship to Scorpio.
So no, the thing is that my ex was a Cancer, but I'm still in contact with 3 Scorpios, and actually 2 of them have the same damn birthday. It's just crazy. So that's why, like last night, I asked the question, like, how do you cut the soul tie? Like, it's crazy. Because, well, the new one is a Scorpio too, but you know, it's just crazy. Like the connection, mentally, physically, spiritually, all of that. It's just too much. But one of them I know is toxic. So.
Okay.
My question was, how do I break away from that?
You got to refer
the
back
sex
to
is good.
that
It's
previous
animalistic.
video.
That one. Now listen, in the bedroom, that one is whew, amazing.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how much I believe in that a soul tie can be broken. I think that a soul tie can be learned from. I don't know if it can be broken. My approach to curing up soul ties is like what's tying me to the soul of the other person is that there are some qualities that I really profoundly fucking enjoy and love about the toxic motherfucker that I'm with. There are just some extreme qualities that appeal to me about this individual. What I do is instead of trying to trick my brain or whatever it is that people do to undo soul ties, is I just put that into my basket of ideal lovers. I believe that because the universe is the law of attraction is energetically responsive and it's responding to our points of attraction, it's responding to our fantasies, it's specifically responding to the things that we really can bring ourselves to have like faith and conviction about. So
yeah, I mean it's kind of scary, like the connection that we have. It's like I asked him who's his savior, and he said that it was me.
I will take so there's something that I teach my students, and it's called universe, bring me the available version of blank. So if I meet, like, I'll meet people in my life experience, and I'll see things I do and don't like about them, things that I would love more of, and things that I definitely want less of. And I'll take all the good, juicy, delicious shit that I love about the people I'm encountering, whether that's romantically or platonically, and I will start setting up my vision for my friendships and my romantic partners from all of that information that I'm collecting about the things that I love. And then my meditations and affirmations become, universe, like, let's say I met a great guy named Curtis. Great sense of humor, super adventurous, but deeply insecure. So I don't want, obviously, the insecure part of him, but I want the adventure, and I want the sense of humor. And let's say he's God-given, very attractive. So I'm going to say, universe, bring me the available version of Curtis. Now, because I'm focusing on all the things I love about Curtis, the universe knows that I'm only talking about bringing me the qualities that I admire and that I am attracted to in Curtis. And then let's say that amidst that manifestation, I'm still meeting other people. So as I continue to meet other people and rendezvous with other people, and I see things that I love and see things that I like and see things that I enjoy, I also begin to include that in my affirmations. Bring me the available version, da da da. And before you know it, I've really compiled and kind of customized my vision for the most idealistic partner possible, or even the most idealistic friend possible. So, and then I end up manifesting people like these people. I remember there was a real life Curtis once upon a time in my life, and he happened to be straight. And I really liked Curtis, and the only fucking reason why we couldn't be together was because he was heterosexual. And so I started asking the universe to bring me the available version of Curtis, and literally 2 months after I started consistently doing those affirmations, I literally met the same gender loving version. I'm talking about they were almost spitting image of each other. Like, not only did the universe bring me the personality of Curtis in the form of the same gender loving person, but also brought me all of the physicality of Curtis in the form of someone who was same gender loving. And me and that guy went on to have a really wonderful companionship for a very long time. So I believe in extrapolating information and then using it to improve my life rather than like trying to undo
I like that.
and all that shit. So that's just my approach.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like for me, it's like I'm still in touch with the Scorpio that I met in 2000. A Scorpio that I met, well, 16 years ago, and another Scorpio that I just met a few months ago. But it's like they don't go away. I'm like, it's hard because we have such a close connection. Even, well, the one I met in 2000, I was just graduating high school or whatever. And even when we took a break or whatever, he played pro basketball. I didn't care about that. He went overseas and stuff, and but he got married. But we were together for 6 years, and he told me, I asked him, where's this relationship going back then? And he said, well, things have to evolve. So I found out through his grandmammy that he had had 2 kids and a grandchild, two sons. And so even afterwards, he started running into my sister. Of all crazy things, he started running into my sister, not me. And by that time, I was married. He called me at work one night at the hospital, and I didn't even know he had a number. And he had just divorced, because I found out he had gotten married. He had divorced his wife.
Wow.
But I had just married that month before.
So he was late.
And he was too late. Look, I wasn't trying to sit around knitting blankets, like waiting for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had moved on. I didn't hear nothing else from him. He had gone to, at the time he had gone to Amsterdam or whatever. I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't trying to wait for him.
Right.
But he calls me at work one night. At the time I was working midnight shift, and he's acting all like in distraught, because he had just divorced. and he's in shock because I was married now. I mean, that's not my fault. That's not
Right.
my fault. And I told him, I said, well, you're a nice dude, you know. You'll find somebody else.
Right.
Wish you all the best. And I kept it at that. You know, the whole time I was married, I kept it at that. And then he thought apparently he was watching me on social media or whatever, and I dropped my last name when my husband had left or whatever and disappeared. And then he started hitting me up and you know, he inboxed me or whatever. We went out. But I mean, it's the same games. And like I don't have the patience for it. He can't commit.
He's committed. He's committed to not being committed. It sounds like.
Right. What's
So-
Storm's question? I'm wondering.
Storm's question is before we is Ty still here? Because it was Ty's story who was being told, right? Who was telling us that story just now? It was Ty, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Ty, I know your device had cut off. There was some great remedies given in the last discussion about Zaya, about how to break soul ties and cut cords and spiritual baths and everything. So definitely reference that video for some nuanced instructions for sure. I might come back and bring one of my spiritualist friends to the table to actually talk about soul ties, etc. Storm's question was, so where does one go to learn how to be a great lover, or is it just practice makes perfect, especially since Gia and Envy lost their virginities to each other?
Wow.
Oh,
Where does
Storm
one
had
go
the whole
to learn
conversation. I
how
see.
to be a great lover?
He missed
I
the
don't
whole
think there's a
conversation.
class. It's not a class. It's all about communicating with the person that you're with at the time. As long as there's open communication and transparency with each other, then you can have a good sexual experience with each other. If you're too scared to tell somebody what you want, you're not going to enjoy it. You're not ever going to truly have that great mind-blowing sexual experience because you're holding back. You're never really going to experience what it is you want to experience.
Right.
But we need to know, what's his definition of a great lover? Like, does he mean a guy that's hopping from girl to girl that could just? We
But
all
it-
know those niggas that just got good dick.
I think
Right?
he means.
Go
It's
ahead.
I think he means sexually, since he brought up virginity and Gia and Envy. That he's. I think Storm. Can you clarify? But I think he's asking, where did you go to
and
learn
I'm
how?
talking about sexually too, because we all know those niggas that got good dick. They ain't about shit, nothing, but they got great dick. They know how to slang it. They know how to, make it do what it do. But then my version of a great lover would be what we've been talking about this whole time: the emotional connection. Like that nigga could just look at you and you melt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the whole entire package that's gonna really.
Like before your clothes is even off, you wet or whatever the case.
Right.
Exactly.
You at work, you running red lights,
You've already
about to get a
had
ticket.
I mean, I know that I read. I mean, if you're interested in wanting to become more experienced in something, you study to show yourself approved. I mean, I loved reading those books by Anais Nin and some of the early erotic writers. For me, eroticism is sexier than just because it stimulates your mind, which is the biggest porn. I mean, your mind is probably the biggest sex organ you have. So
Yep.
I love reading these books because I have an issue watching straight up porn, because there doesn't seem to be any kind of like romance or any kind of or any kind of imagination. We all know how we would love for the act to end, but getting there oftentimes is the most important part of it. Is this person, I can tell when I'm attracted to somebody because my mouth waters. I already know what they're going. I know that they are open. It's just like you almost instinctively know that this is not going to be somebody who's going to come to you and tell you what they're not going to do in bed. You know, you just have this instinct that this person can satisfy you. You know, you just kind of know. But in terms of you must desire to be a great lover yourself, I think. And the way you do that, I just read novels and I remember seeing this movie once called The Courtesan, and it was a movie about a woman who had a house of ill repute, but no one spoke. And when they did, it was almost like a computerized sound as opposed to speaking. But the imagery was the bomb. It was lovely. It was beautiful because you had to, in each of these rooms that she showed you, it was, for me, it was just the imagery of it that not only stoked my curiosity, but also elicited a physical experience, like a vicarious kind of experience. And Oz is right. You have to be able to talk to your lover about what it is you desire. If it's going to be a relationship, once you decide that you want to take it further, you have to be open about what it is you want from them, and you can't be fearful of that. You know, you just can't be.
So there you have it, Storm. Like, I would agree with the women. Communication. I mean, you got to tell your partner that you like it hard, rough, sweaty, and nasty. That you like all that good hip hop shit being spoke to you during the beat down, you know, or that you like it slow and sensual and soft and sensual. Like, you gotta just be willing to open up about your fantasies to your partner.
Yes.
And maybe one of the reasons why couples or people in general struggle to do this is because, especially being a part of a community, aka the Black community, that is so deeply conservative, we still have a lot of shame around
Church
sex.
community.
We feel ashamed of the things we want. We feel embarrassed by the things we want to do or have done to us. And so just breaking all that down and realizing that your relationship is supposed to be a space where you both can create a transparent atmosphere amongst each other, and that's what intimacy is I'm giving you permission to really see into me
And see into yourself. Yep.
Intimacy.
Can I say?
Exactly.
But you know what? America is like, I don't understand why America is so over sexualized, but we treat sex so taboo. Like, we outwardly, I don't even know how to put it. Like, sex is everywhere in America, all over the ads, the TVs, this, that, and the third, but we still close off about sex. Like, we can't talk about it openly. We have this huge issue with gay people. And the thing that helped me the most with my sexuality and just in the bedroom and everything was living in Europe, because they so sexually free. And honestly, you know what? In Europe, they have less sexually deviant, motivated crimes because they are allowed to be more sexually free. But in America, it's like we closed off sexually. Like, we can't explore. And if a guy ever
It's suppressed.
explores, he got to be
I
gay.
think a lot of it has to do with the Bible, because
Yes.
back in the day, it was a woman. Her only duty was to be a sperm receptacle, have babies, obey your husband. That you are not.
It wasn't that we were supposed to be enjoying it.
Right, you're not supposed to enjoy it. It was your wifely duty to lay down with your husband and let him have his way. And you weren't, it was beaten into people that you should never, a woman's feelings, the things that she desired simply don't matter. You're here to serve men. And And you was speaking about the deviancy. The reason it happens is because people are so, if you speak to people who are suppressed or oppressed or get involved with what we would call deviant behavior, I bet somewhere in their lives somebody used the Bible against them.
Oh yeah, for
You're
sure.
a nasty
For
little
sure.
boy if you touch yourself. You know, oh, you're a fast girl if you touch yourself. It's just sort of been ingrained.
But you know what? People pick and choose what part they want to study and do. If you go like deeper into the Bible, there was prostitutes, Lot in them shared wives, all kind of stuff.
You go into the book of Psalms, it's a whole pornographic section of the damn Bible talking about breasts and a woman's orgasm being referred to as wine coming from her thighs, and I mean the book is a whole the Bible is a whole damn mess.
You know yourself by touching yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I also wanted to say, and I want to ask this question too, and I also want to get back to some of the cheating stuff and not have the sex talk take up all of the conversation. But to Storm's point about like, or somebody make mention of practice, like communication and practice definitely have to be in tandem. Like communicated, and then the practice runs, you know, because you can't get better at something unless you're doing it.
That's
and
it.
doing it and doing it again. Now, let me ask y'all this question on the panel. How long would it take for y'all, like how much time are y'all willing to give a man to get good at it before it becomes a problem? Like if y'all been actively communicating about what y'all like and he's satisfied with you, but his end is still really kind of dusty, like, and this dustiness has been there for 9 months now or a year now.
Ooh,
since y'all been having these conversations, and this is somebody you in a relationship with, not somebody you got a fling with, who
right. So it depends on it depends on, you know, the all and out situation. Because for me, that's not everything. Are we enjoying each other? Are we spending time together? You know, are we doing things together? For me, it's not only about the bedroom. So if he had it cut off today or tomorrow, he's good to me. You know what I mean? So I mean, everybody different.
Can I say something, Conscious?
Yes.
I wanted to go back to one of the initial questions you had asked, which was dealing with the being unfaithful and whether or not a woman would be allowed to.
Hold on. Before we jump there, because I don't want to keep skipping through. Everybody, if y'all finish with answering the sex talk, then we can definitely get back to the cheating stuff. I just didn't want to keep swinging between.
Well,
we're still coming back to the sex.
For me,
if you come to the okay.
For me, I'm willing to show you, but I'm not. You know, this ain't no goddamn higher education shit. You got to come with something. You know, I just don't know that I have the patience. I can be friends with somebody if it begins to feel as if it's not improving. I don't know if I can put a time mark on it, because I know I'm a Libra sun, a Gemini rising, and a Gemini moon. There's a lot of air in there, and I can get distracted or bored, if you will, for lack of a better word, easily. So I've been fortunate that the people that I've met and wanted to be with that way, I already knew that we wouldn't have those kinds of issues. And I also know that we were open in our communication about what it is we wanted. And so it was no problem for me to please my partner. It just wasn't, because they pleased me as well.
I don't know. I feel like the first lady gave the most realistic answer, because us as women will have a situation more like Gia's than anything. If you got a good man, he providing, he ain't too crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, sex is a deal, but is it that big of a deal? Like, you really gonna let a good person go because of sex, especially when you could get your own self off? Now, I would say constantly work on it. Like, don't just be like, oh, he a lost cause. Shit, I would even go to sex
Mm.
therapy. But
Yeah,
I
'cause
would.
I want it
I
all.
was gonna ask you that question too. Like, with that being said, what is everybody's ratio between like love, interest, and sex? Like, if you are in love with your partner, will a mediocre sex life be a deal breaker? Can everybody answer that on the panel, starting with Mrs. Oz and Mr. Oz?
Now, okay, so with us, if the sex had been mediocre, we wouldn't have been together to begin with. It wouldn't have happened.
Right.
Because I could have took it. I'm a very masculine woman to a certain extent, so I've never really had a lot of female friends. All of my friends have always been dudes. I've always hung out with dudes, played basketball, that type of stuff. So me and him were best friends. We were really close. We were friends. We could have remained friends had the sex not been what it was. We wouldn't have been a married couple and having all these kids, because I would have went and found some dick somewhere else. We could have just been friends. Because I can have emotional relationships with men that do not include sex.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, for me, I want it all. I know too many women who are in relationships where they are with a good man, and he is providing, and he is taking care of his family, and doing what a man, what he's committed to her, but she is unsatisfied physically, and this is after she's been there for years. They have children, yet she's just unsatisfied, and I don't know. I would ideally love to be able to have all of that in my partner, that they are committed, respectful, loving, supportive. Because that I'm not going to ask them to give anything that I'm not willing to give. And I said last night that when I get involved with someone, I'm all in. I don't half step on that. I go all the way in. So ideally, I'd like to have all of that,
So this is the part of the conversation I don't understand. It's kind of like when people say no one can be in charge of your own happiness. To a sense, I feel the same way about sex. Like, yeah, he may not be all you want and dreaming, but I don't see how you are that unsatisfied. Like, girl, you better get on top. You better learn your body to know what could get you
it
off,
could be
like work
improved. Yeah.
together. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know my man has a 20 stroke count limit, I know I need to, find out what gets me off on 20 strokes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it can't all be his fault. You got to work with him too. Like, you got to learn how to satisfy yourself within his means. If he just ain't getting it, then he just ain't got it. And you need to learn how to satisfy yourself within what he got.
Like, my thing is this: if I went back 20 years ago, I may feel that way. But at 50 years old, if I never get none again, I'm good. I got 6 kids from a marriage. I am single now, but if I didn't, I didn't. I mean, I've had more than my share, so it's not mandatory for me. It's just not.
So for you, it would be more so at this point about like just a companionship, the company, and having somebody to really share your life and your thoughts and to co-create other things with. It wouldn't be just sex wouldn't be detrimental.
Exactly.
Got it. Yeah, because I think that's a part of romantic interest that makes the question interesting, is that like when for a lot of people, when they desire a relationship to someone, they're not simply thinking about sex. They also kind of just like, a lot of it is just really rooted in attraction to the company of the person. Like, you just really love the way you experience you with this person. Like the you that's revealed, the you that comes out, being with this person, being a part of this person's life, etc. It brings out something in you that's unique to your life experience and to this individual. So I think that's why we can put up with a lot, or we can kind of, like the 60-40 rule. Like for Gia, it might have been okay, I ain't busting a nut, but I'm busting a lot of other nuts in this relationship.
Right,
You know,
right.
I'm busting emotional nuts, mental nuts,
Financial,
financial
everything.
Can I say
nuts,
something?
career
Can I
nuts.
say something?
This is my
Right.
friend. Like there's other fulfillment pouring out, so it probably was easy for her to rationalize, her and to Envy's point, I'm sure I mean, I'm only going to rationally assume that there are things he's compromising as well. Maybe, like I'm sure there are things that he's substituting about her as well. Like, my woman, she got some faults and things that I don't like. I don't think he's per se comfortable saying that since he already occupies the villainous role in their relationship. He kind of can't critique her in any kind of way because he's been the perpetual cheater and all of that. So who really gives a damn about whatever Envy don't like, right? So, but I'm sure that still within himself, it's probably
She's confident within herself.
It sounds like he was more into himself, that she was his woman, like she was his property. He was, he's flying high and he's well known. And, I've been on the road with a lot of famous musicians, and I tell you, there are always women who are willing, they will do whatever it takes to get backstage.
Especially a DJ, they act that move.
So perhaps he was so full of himself that he never gave any thought to her.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that could be very true.
Can I say something? Can I step in here real quick?
Oh, I didn't even know it was a guy on the panel.
That's my husband.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Mr.
God bless you. Let me say this. Now, dealing with Envy and his wife, just one quick thing. In knowing DJ Envy, his wife is the more successful person. She made DJ Envy who he is, to be honest. It's her money that made him and catalyzed him. He was just a DJ going to club to club. She comes from money. So when all of that stuff happened and the cheating happened, she could have left. It was him that made the effort, because we've been watching the Breakfast Club for years. So that this story, it's coming out in a book, but we heard this years ago and it's been spoken of on the Breakfast Club. So when it comes down to dulling down who you are, he had to dull down to who she is. And for her to say what she said as a man, when you say stuff that I was faking it or he had to learn my body, you got to take that sometimes, because that's still a part of the healing process. I did the dirt. So whatever she says, I can't get my butt in a wad because I did it. So if you can do the crime in this conversation, you got to do the time too, on that note. But as for me, I'm a Pisces. I've always been able to speak. That's where my problem came in growing up. I'm always able to tell you exactly what I think of you, and even things that I made up. You're going to fall for it because of the way that I speak. I'm a great speaker. So when it comes down to knowing a woman's body from head to toe, you must have somewhat of a feminine quality. Growing up with 6 sisters, I'm one of 9. So I learned growing up to cook and to clean. I was up under women all my life. So listening and understanding, I know what you think. I know what to say. I know how to say it. And it's called tone. So when I'm able to, how do you think Ike was able to get Tina for as long as she did? He was able to speak to a young girl's mind, and that's how he got her. Now, after a while, it started getting diluted, and she started putting her hands back on him. But in the beginning, if you can get a woman's mind, it travels to the heart. The Bible says, what a man thinketh, so is he.
Yeah.
If I can think and achieve, I have gotten myself into stuff with my mouth that I couldn't get my ass out of. And that alone, when it comes down to, I've had a lot of women, I've said a lot of stuff, but when I met this woman here at 18, it changed the game for me. And she took care of me at my lowest. So 27 years later with 6 kids, we could be standing in the grocery store. I know what to say and how to say it. And she will drop to the ground while we're doing grocery shopping. That's how good I am.
All
Do you
right.
understand? So when it comes down to understanding, I'm the one at 52 years old telling her no because she's a sex addict. She's got problems. She need help. But at the same time, we have enough communication that we still act like we just met. I was just telling her last night,
Right.
this is my partner. This is my homegirl. And me telling her no, it turns into a rape scene. So now we've recreated it 27 years and 6 kids and 4 grandkids. We're still acting like we're on the dating scene, but we communicate. We don't always get along, but we communicate. And at the end of the day, some of these arguments, it turns into a whole lot of goodness that we got to pray for the next day. So that's how we keep things going.
Angry fucking is always good. Um, I was gonna say something about one of the things I was going to say is, as long as we've been married the 27 years, about 10 years ago, we had an incident with infidelity where he did step outside of our marriage. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to forgive him, but particular incident gave me an opportunity to tell him something that I had been keeping from him during our whole entire marriage because of the fact that he did grow up a church kid. He grew up a church kid, and he let me know it right off the bat when we first got together. I was bisexual. I didn't tell him that because he already let me know his church brain at that time was still tuned into, that ain't going, that type of stuff that gonna put you in hell and everything else. So I just kept my mouth shut. It wasn't like I had never been with a girl, but I knew that I was sexually attracted to women. I knew that. But I kept it to myself. When he did what he did, I felt like, well, hell, I can say it now because if he gonna leave, he just gonna leave. It really wouldn't be the same type of thing at this particular point. So that opened up that door, and that opened up a whole other thing for us. That opened up a whole entire different thing. But had I not been scared to tell him in the very beginning, who knows what type of relationship we would have had from the very beginning. But I was scared to say to him, I'm interested in this. This is something that I'm attracted to. I didn't want to say that to him. But you can't be with someone and think that you're going to spend your whole entire life with them and keep something from them.
Right. You should be able to
You
share
can't do
everything.
it. You have to share everything.
Yeah.
That's the truth. I agree. I'm very, when I'm interested in someone and when we're interested in each other and we are we're getting to know each other, I'm very open about that. I don't want you to watch me watching a pretty woman walk by and following her in the supermarket because I like the way she walks or whatever, and you wondering what's going on.
Right.
I'm very open about that. I think that my lover deserves to know that. And I want them to be comforted in knowing that you may tell me things that I don't like or that I might not be crazy about, but I know I can trust you because you confessed it or you told me that. Trust is very important.
Oh yeah.
So I want him or her to know that it's okay for you to tell me the truth or share your truth, because I wouldn't want to find out something later on from someone else, or in some sort of way out of anger or something. I wouldn't want to find out that way. It's okay for you to speak openly and honestly with me.
Mm.
I want to know. You know, I ask hard questions because I want the answer. You know,
I was listening to something, and I was listening to this man. It was some type of a men's conference, and it featured T.I. and a few other men, and there was a particular man on the panel who said something, probably said one of the most profound things I think I've ever heard a man even say. But they were speaking about marriage, and he was speaking about his own like toxic practices as it relates to his marriage and his relationship to women. And he said something so observant. He said he made a distinction between men and women. And he spoke about his woman, his wife, ability to be authentic and be transparent, and to really share things that mean something to him, maybe experiences growing up, any type of sexual assault, just being able to share secrets, share things dear to her heart with her husband. And he said that he realized that a part of his infidelity and his disconnectedness from his wife that allowed him to be a fuckboy was the fact that he never gave his wife anything that was specific to her. That this whole time in this marriage, he gave her the same dick he would give any other side chick. He was giving his wife the same time spent that he would give the other side, that he wasn't giving her any part of him that was unique to her. And led to him being able to scribble outside of the lines in their marriage. And it wasn't until he started sharing his pain, his secrets, started sharing parts of him, like trusting her with like being naked in the relationship, that led to his ability to cultivate monogamy with his woman. Because and that is what allowed him to put both feet in his marriage. And I just thought that was like so wild. Like it was so wild. And it also was revealing of just how destructive patriarchy is on the psyches of men, how it literally programs them to be so emotionally unavailable, how it put so much of themselves in the blind spot of their own rearview mirrors, how it cloaks them in this avatar of self. And every man in that audience, I felt like it was no way you could not have had a aha moment and a light bulb just blew up in your damn head hearing this from this man. And I think that Black men who are definitely raised and kind of shaped, they're given an even more toxic brand of patriarchy than their white male counterparts are. Like it's important for Black men to know that, like it's important for Black men to be able to let their hair down completely in a relationship and not just afford the woman the space to do that, but make sure that you give yourself permission as well to practice that same openness and transparency and that same nakedness. And this is what and just like everything else falls by the wayside once you can trust the person you're with and you can truly show up as your true self in that relationship. And that's where you really begin to experience all the other magic of being with somebody. You can't experience that magic when you're giving everybody the same you. Like and these men are giving their wives the same thing that they're giving the side chick, the chick at the bar, like they're giving the same them, and that's why they can't make a distinction and they can be all over the place. And so that sharing of self and being transparent is what men need to be more of to make their relationships and marriages more personal.
Right.
Wow. You know what, CTV? Yeah, we kind of talked about this on another panel you had, and we were talking about like if men can't sexually explore like women can sexually explore, and I'm so happy that he was able to one actualize and realize that, but
Right.
that he
Really?
shared it with other men because man, it's
Yeah,
hard
because you
for
don't know
black.
who else wife is feeling that way.
That's
I mean
right.
everybody, and I say
Uh-huh.
everybody in the black community because you can't truly be yourself in the black community.
Mhm.
Like it's like if you go too far left or right, you corny or you trying to be white. Like
Very
you know what
true.
I'm saying? Like
Well, where did
you
you
can't
learn that
just
from? Who you do that with? Like, yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
in the black community, you can't speak the way you want to, you can't dress the way
Mhm.
you want to, you can't act the way you want to. If you do, you're trying to be white or you're trying to be this, and we equate
Mhm.
being the bad things in life to being black. Like if you loud and ghetto and ratchet, oh you black. But if you well read and you like certain things, oh you trying to be white. Like and I never understood that about our community. We
Yeah, I
hold each
don't
other
believe
back.
all that ratchetness. That's
Right.
I
We
don't know.
hold ourselves back more than any other race of people do.
Mhm.
And I think that's where a large disconnect in our relationships come from because m- black males and females aren't taught to be friends. As little kids, if you saw a black girl and boy playing together, your elders will break that shit up. Like, what y'all doing
Mhm.
over there? Y'all couldn't even be friends back in the day. So how do they
Mhm.
expect us to be married and one as a couple now that we're older when shit we couldn't even be open and honest with each other as kids?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, like the sexes were separated all the time. Like, no,
Exactly.
boys
Yeah.
over here, girls over there,
Yeah.
and that's what I was talking about even in the Zaya commentary. It's like this over, like we like because we do have concerns as guardians and as parents, of course, over young people who have developing minds and can get themselves into things unbeknownst to them that would not be good. But that concern, it's injurious because it becomes like the point. It becomes the narrative instead of just a concern. Like
Mhm.
we are moving from a place of fear and we're taking all of the humanity and all of the relationship cultivating that needs to happen between the sexes out of it by saying no, y'all are going to
Yep.
be segregated, and to whatchamacallit who just spoke, like, yeah, so then you get these adults who this is their first time being able to do all of this shit emotionally,
Mhm.
really. This is the first time that they can do all this shit really, sexually. And of course, like shit is going to be crazy if you're not, if you haven't, if you're having to learn all of this in your first relationship, and this is your first real opportunity or your first or your marriage. Like, I feel like I feel like some of the stuff has to start as children, as young people, as teenagers, that the elders need to that we just got to reform that system, because I just feel like it's producing a lot of handicapped adults, and that's why our relationships are raggedy and our relationship
Very
patterns and
true.
pathologies are
Mhm.
raggedy.
Yep. They need to let kids be kids. Because just think about even and I don't know, I'm not gonna say who has it worse, but for young black boys, and I'm talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if they hung around a lot of girls, it's like, oh, they don't want that because they don't want him to turn out feminine,
Mhm.
or they think he gonna turn out gay, when really he needs to be around females so he can learn about females. You know what I'm saying? And not make being around females a bad thing. Like we mentally indoctrinated our boys to think having any sort of femininity is bad, or you're gay,
Right.
or you're
Or weak or
stained, you're
gay. Yep.
ruined.
Mhm.
Yep. That's
You right
true.
about that. I
We
True.
have we
I
have actually taught our little boys when they hurt themselves.
No crying
That
and all
doesn't
this stuff.
hurt. That don't cry. That didn't hurt.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, it did hurt, and he should be able to. I think it begins at that age where we just think somehow uh, little boys shouldn't be able to express themselves in very real human ways, and I really think that affects how men think when they get older. That for them to show any kind of anything that would be considered a feminine trait, to acknowledge the softer parts of themselves, the softness within, that somehow it makes them a punk. It does not. It does not. I like someone. Now, I was with somebody who could cry real good. That nigga got on my nerves. It's like,
My God.
real good. But I mean, just someone who isn't afraid to show the vulnerability, that because ultimately we're all human, and the emotions we experience all come from a human place. I don't think that has anything to do with gender or sex or any of that. We are all human, and so we experience human things. That it's sad for and Conscious, you said something in a conversation we had, that the only images or the only examples of manhood have come for Black men have been white men, the supremacists, the white patriarchy. So I think that has something to do with it too. Like they don't. It's almost as if
everything been taken from us, and so
Right.
the only place we had to extrapolate information from about how to cultivate community and society was from what was demonstrated to us by white society,
Right.
Which was demonstrated to us by white male patriarchy. So this is why Black men go for power instead of equality. They don't really want equality; they need power. That's what they've seen from their white male counterparts, and Black men bring this into their relationship dynamics. They need to make more money because more money includes power. They need to
I agree with that.
be able to like everything is about the power
May I
play
say
and
something
power
about my
dynamic
father?
It
achieving.
shouldn't be like that though. My marriage was like that. He had the money, and so he was like real controlling. From the way I stood to, it was crazy. He had the money, and so he was like real controlling.
Can I step in here real quick on the subject about how fathers are with their sons?
Hold on, Miss Oz. It's an echo.
Subject about
I think Miss Barbara is your phone, boo. Is an echo going on? Okay, go ahead, Miss Oz.
I understand what you mean about them falling and the crying aspect. I think it comes from, this is my little man. I want you to man up. Everything shouldn't be a crying. I don't believe that it is you're being a girl or nothing like that. I want you to be a man. Stand up. Okay, it hurt. I understand. Let's kiss the boo-boo, but at the time, let's man up. Because I don't want you, every time you fall, you get in the soccer, you get kicked or you get hit, and now you're falling down. I want you to stand up. Hurt, it hurts. But at the same time, I want you to keep your composure. Because at the same time, I had 6 sisters, and like I said before, I know how to cook and clean and sew. I grew up that way, but yet and still, I knew that I was a man at the end of the day. And you have to yin and yang those things together. Yes, I can look at a situation and I get so emotional. I don't never look at grown men don't cry. If you don't cry, you ain't got no feelings whatsoever. Because I tell you what, if I lost my woman right now, I don't know what I would do. Because what us men and a lot of men still don't understand, without a woman, there would be no life. Let's just keep it a buck. Women do everything. If all of a sudden you told a man, we're going to reverse this thing. Now the women are not going to have the kids and the men going to have the kids. Everything I got is getting pulled out wherever a child come from, because ain't no way I can't deal with a toothache. Let's talk about what a man really think. I can't deal with 9 months or something growing in my stomach. Oh, no way. So Men got to realize women really ruled the world. But because the white man put them underneath, and because the Bible say
Yeah.
that a woman is the helpmeet. But if you read the other passages of scripture, not only did he say, when a man finds a woman, he finds a good thing. That's why I say a man leaves his mother and father and cleave to his wife.
It
My
also
wife
says
does
that
everything. My wife does
it also
everything
says that
around here.
it also
So
says that men are to honor their wives the way that
yeah,
Christ honors the church.
Right.
yes. Ain't no way. I can't see a man. You think you're so bad, and because you rule something with an iron fist, as they call it, any man that put his hands on a woman, I can't be with my wife if I gotta slap her up or punch her. I gotta look at you the next day. I got to, how can we have a conversation after that? Something got to give. If I gotta put my hands on you, that doesn't make me a man. That makes me a punk.
You
That's
want to know what though?
disrespectful.
I feel like that's how mothers are feeling their sons in a sense because women are naturally more emotionally mature. I don't think we pass that down to our sons and teach them not only that it's okay to have emotions, but how to manage their emotions. Like this is what
Right.
I do with my son, and he's only 7, right? Like he'll fall down and he starts crying. You know, of course, naturally he looks at me first. I'm like, okay, you crying? All right, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Tears running down his face. I'm like, okay, you know it's okay to cry, but what are you crying for? Are you crying because it really hurts that bad, or are
Or
you
you
crying because
embarrassed.
you just want my attention? He's like, no, it don't hurt that bad. Well, if you want me to hold you, just say that. You ain't gotta cry for me to hold you. You know what I'm saying? Like I try to work through
Yeah.
those emotions with him so he can understand
Helping him to
what's going
develop
on with him
emotional
emotionally.
intelligence.
Yeah.
That's very
Right.
good.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
Yeah.
I
good.
would like to explain a problem that I'm having with my son, and he is 16 years old. He'll be 17 in June, you know. And the problem that I'm having is with his siblings telling him that he should be promiscuous, that he should be having sex, he should be getting his dick sucked. This is the way his siblings are talking to him. And I'm telling my son, keep your body as a temple of gold, because you could catch diseases, you could get unwanted pregnancies. Try to find love and respect a woman body like that. Oh, you want him to be a fat, or they say the F word and things like that. This is the way they talk to my son. And I see it being pushed on the young generation not to keep their body as a temple and find love. One of my little problems was I was a fast ass when I was young, and I had sex and I did that, and it turned me out. I was a little lost and turned out Olivia. You know, you know, young generations have to know that if they learn to keep their bodies as a temple of gold, they will find gold at the end. That's what I truly believe. They will find love. They'll know what love is. Like the way I grew up was I was a little fast ass, and the only thing I did, I only had sex for money. So I never knew what love was. I didn't care if I dealt with high drug dealers. I mean, really, really seriously, high, big time drug dealers. So they had a lot of women because they was giving out a lot of money. So I didn't give a damn. And that was my whole life. And it wasn't until I got to be an old crow, then I want to fall in love. Oh, what about love? I'm in love now. What about all the men that I dogged? And I walked over, and so this is what the streets taught me. I'm teaching my son. I have 5 children, and I just got this one little baby. He's just a miracle little child. He has a 98 average in school. I'm so proud of him. I'm so blessed, and I don't think I played a part in any of it. I'm just really just blessed to have him to be a 98 average. That means like most of his tests is 100, and he respects his girlfriends. Like I feel like crying because he was called so many bad names by his sisters, like the F words. And then I seen him on a date with his beautiful little girlfriend, you know, and I'm like, wow, what this little boy have to go through is like he's walking through a jungle. You know, the jungle, he's in the ghetto, whereas most of the boys are pulling down little girls' drawers. So he got to fight that, you know, and it, like not be promiscuous with that, not have to prove himself like that. Oh, Sterling, you get any PP yet? You do this yet to a girl? Oh, yo, did you suck it yet? Or did you get head yet? You know, that's what's out there. And it has to be more adults pushing that purity back on these children instead of pushing all of this open-mindedness about sex. I don't believe that we should be raising our young generation to be about sex. Look at the way we turned out. Okay, really. Okay, lost and damn turned out. You know, really, let's give the new generation what they really are. Golden temples. You know, I was listening for a long time. I started at the beginning. I said, you know, I'm not gonna come in with my mess because you know how you know how I feel. You know, so I said I'm not gonna come in my mess because when I try to tell women the reality of life, you understand that was a law made. I'm only talking about a black man right now. You understand? They made that law on a black man only to have one wife, so he didn't make so many chiefs and Indians. And I don't want to get into it. I said what I said, and I mean it. I mean it. Look at Beyonce, huh? Look at Brianna, huh? Look at Harry Belly, huh? Come on now. Come on. When women are going to realize that, I'm going to say it, and I know I'm going to get told off, but men are God gift to us. We are not God gift to them. Sorry. Ask that woman that got a husband and ask that woman that don't. All right. I said,
well, let me
I don't have a husband because he died, but I believe we both are gifts.
Hold on, y'all. Before y'all get into that part, I want Mr. Oz to respond to Miss Barbara's first question as it relates to her son, and there kind of being a lot of toxic examples that are trying to be projected and instilled into her son, who is carrying himself in a very different way than the people than the other males in his environment, and even maybe even some of the females. With you being a heterosexual male who also was raised up in black communities and black spaces, Mr. Oz, what would you say to Miss Barbara, who is concerned about that influence?
In coming from me, I ran home every day. I got my lunch money took, I got my glasses took and broke, and it was my sisters that stopped me in my tracks and told me that if you run home again, you got to catch a beat down from me. You're going to man up and you're going to run them home. They taught me
No, that's
how
not.
to do.
Hold on, before we get into that, that's not the problem, because trust me, they you know, the problem of him being picked on is not that. No, boys do not approach him like that. He doesn't have a problem of being picked on or nothing like that.
It's his sisters pressuring him to.
Yeah.
Is it his sisters pressuring him to go out and be a man?
And the other black
as
man,
they call it, as they call it.
Right. Here's the problem with that. When it comes to sisters and brothers and asking that's kind of like a gray area, because they want, if he's the little one and he has older sisters, right?
Yes.
So I guess they're trying to see which way he's going to go. So they're trying to say, have you had any? Have you did that? I don't. That's kind of like a touchy situation, because those are the big sisters, and they want to see how he's going to turn out. If he's interested in girls, I think they're trying to pick his brain, maybe in the wrong way, but they're trying to see where he's going to go. You understand what I mean? And I've had that way myself. My sisters permed my hair because my hair is naturally straight. Well, I don't have any hair now, but when I was growing up, I had naturally long hair because we're Native American. So they permed my hair. And when my parents got home, I got the beat down of my life because my hair was permed. Now, I've had that same, they want to know if he's going to go to the left or to the right. That's what I believe that it is. Is he expressing discontent with them picking on him like that, or is he taking it in stride?
Well, if you mean in strive, like he's taking it like a man because he know who he is. I've always teach my
Right.
son, not what you called, is what you answer to, you know. And I
Right.
told you, the sisters are disgusting, free pussy bitches. I'm sorry.
Oh, Lord
I'm
Jesus.
sorry.
Lord
I
Jesus.
give it up. I give it up real. I'm sorry. I give it up like they try to give it to him.
Ooh, my
I
God.
told him they some free
I
pussy.
believe in equal force. I
You
agree,
know,
Miss
no,
Barbara.
I'm sorry. I'm just telling
Nah,
you,
this whole
this is how I talk to my son, because they want,
Let me ask you this
when
question.
they
Hold
say
on,
the
hold
F
on.
word, they disrespect him. So
Miss Barbara,
this
hold
is
on, hold on, Miss Barbara. How old are his sisters? Are these adult
21,
women?
22.
Okay, so these are okay. Yeah, it's fair game.
21, 22.
Miss Barbara, I remember you. Yeah, you've been on conscious panels a bunch of times. But look, this whole situation is toxic. First, somebody needs to talk to those young women about the way that they're talking to their brother or any other human being. Like, why are they speaking to
Amen.
them that way? What's going on in their life that they feel the need to speak to anybody that way, let alone their
Right.
younger brother? And number two, you say he's taking it in stride. No, that shit is boring into his mind, his mentality, his psychic, his psychology,
No. I'm
affecting him
trying to tell you
socially. Yes,
something.
it is. You
It's
can't
a
tell me
real
that
blessing.
his
No,
sisters
it's a
are
real
talking to him
blessing
that
because
way.
my
And he
son
is
has a
like,
God. I'm
okay, I
telling you,
promise
it's
you,
a
when your
real
son get
blessing. He
older,
has a
he's gonna
God.
have an issue
And the
with
way,
women
and
and
I
black
seen his
women.
beautiful
Like,
little
you can't tell
girlfriend.
me he's taking it on the chin and he going
Listen,
la la la
this
la
is the
la. Life
reason
is
why I'm
good. No, that
saying
shit
it,
is hurting him.
because he has beautiful little
Yeah,
girlfriends.
okay.
He goes on dates. He uses my credit cards. He cons me out of all my money. Ma, I just got all these heavy grades. I got a nice date coming up. I provide the date. If he provides the grades, I provide the money.
That
You
doesn't
know,
mean
he
it's
got
not
it
eating at
going
his
on.
mental or
I'm very
emotional
proud of
state.
him. He's a miracle child. I'm telling you.
Well,
And I'm not saying he's not a good kid, but I'm not saying
Yes,
you can't say that shit is
hold on,
not
hold on,
affecting him.
hold on. I think
it's
that
not.
y'all both. I think that what y'all both saying is true. I think the whole reason why Miss Barbara brought it up is because she's establishing that their behavior onto him is toxic and problematic. But she's also saying that despite that toxic behavior,
Yes.
as of right now, he's still yielding to himself and still choosing to do things the way he
Yes.
believes things should be
Keep
done.
his
So,
grades
both
good.
y'all-
Respect his girlfriend. You understand what I'm saying? Take on a nice, respectable date. Pay for the date. Take her to dinner. You know, that good stuff. That's what I'm liking. You know, and I want him to respect himself, because I don't want him to catch a disease. I don't want him to have an unwanted pregnancy. I don't want him to violate somebody, you know, daughter, because I wouldn't want nobody to violate my daughter. You know, so
Right.
that's
But Miss Barbara, if he has a girlfriend, he's on the path that he wants to be on. So their conversation to him, he got to let them know, y'all got to put a pause on what y'all saying to me. I got a little shorty that I'm with. So y'all don't need to be
he has
asking me.
he's
That's
dating
kind
a
of
couple
weird.
of girls. He's dating, not
Right.
sexing, dating. I hope he's not sexy. I pray.
Is he 17?
He'll be 17 in June.
Then if he's 17, let's be clear, Miss Barbara. I know we want to. I got 5 girls, and I sure enough did not want to know. I found out later on in life what they were doing. But trust me, at 16, 17, the conversation has been had. Something been looked at, something's been sniffed
Right.
a little bit. It might not have went all the way yet,
Yeah.
or maybe it has.
Yeah,
But as a 16, 17-year-old,
It's not necessarily a conversation that a boy is going to have with his mother.
right,
either.
he ain't gonna
but
tell you I'm getting it in.
but let's
Right.
also but children also are not monolithic, because I was not a fast teenager my damn self. So I know that there's, yeah, to Miss Barbara's point, she knows her child, and there's a reason why she believes what he's saying, and it's because of the way he carries himself, and it could be very well possible that he's
the
not
hours like,
being inappropriate.
right now. It's like
He could still be a virgin at this point.
Is raised right now. The way our family is raising our youngest, just like the grandmothers used to raise us, we keeping it separate. We have to, because there's so much stuff going on. The TV, like right now, I don't want to mention another show and everything that happened before, but you know, we still doing things like that. Get away! We don't want you watching this, man. You know, I don't want you looking at that. I don't want you seeing this. I don't want you doing this. And you know, we try. You know, we try to put our opinions out there, and he has his own opinion. You know, and what I appreciate with my son is mostly a righteous opinion. What we have to instill in our children is the God, that the laws that we want our children to follow, you know, and we have to let them know that their bodies are temples. Like, you know, I try my best to tell my daughters, please, your body's a temple. Don't give it up. Don't give it up. Don't give it up. Don't give it up.
Miss Barbara.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's out there. It's out there. It's out there. Women virtues is out there. Girls that don't have sex is out there. It's out there.
It is out there, but we shouldn't be demonizing sex either. We don't need to demonize it.
Right.
At the end of the day, as parents, I think this is what all of us need to, all of us as parents, any of us who have children need to realize. At the end of the day, yes, we wish that we could direct the path that our children are going to walk, but they are individual sentient beings. We birthed them into, we were just the channel that the universe used to bring them into this universe. We don't control their future. We don't control their narrative. We don't get to decide who they are, who they love, what they want to do. That is not our decision. We can try to project all of the things that we desire for them to do onto them, and all the stuff that we would want, we didn't do, but we can't force them to follow that path. We cannot.
We the people got to make better decisions for our children.
You can't. That's what I'm trying to tell you, though, Miss Barbara. We can't decide for our children.
We gotta
can't
stop
decide for them.
Hold on. We gotta stop the pimps and hoes raising our children. We gotta get the village back in there. Okay, we got to get grandma back in there. We got to get grandma to be the age of 60 again instead of 40. Okay, instead of 35. We got to get grandma to be 70 years old again. We have to install some purity back into our lives, because if not, we're going to have a whole generation of lost and turned out. You understand? They'll never know what love is.
Here's the I think that. So it's interesting how all things are true these days. I think what Miss Oz is this is what I'm saying. The problem with today's society, and it's become a very unique problem because of social media and the internet age and the age of enlightenment, is unfortunately most of our young people spend more time outside of the household through the indoctrination of the school system, which they're in for most of the day. And they're also exposed to the culture of the nation they lived in through television, through radio, which is now, that content is now more accessible through cell phones, through Google, through computers, through tablets, through laptops, through cable television, etc. And there was a statistic done about a few years ago that actually said that basically the influences outside of the household at this point are larger in percentage than the influence of parents who have access to their kids. And so now that poses a big question, because to your point, Ms. Barbara, you can, well, first of all, because of the Black community being so conservative, I don't know one Black household that was not very stern as it relates to sex and being conservative in that way and reserving and preserving yourself till marriage. But the issue with today's time is that no matter how so-called, like how much of a helicopter mom or dad a person is, or how strict the parents try to be, the culture is having a more overwhelming influence
Exactly.
over the psyches of young people than the parents themselves.
Exactly.
And just think about it.
May I say something?
Yeah.
All right. I listened to Miss Barbara and it caused me to think. And I just wanted to tell her that once I left my parents' home and began to carve out my life, because do the best I could to get to where I am now, a much, 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 much wiser human being. I had instincts, but once I left them, I was making my own decisions. So I was blessed to have a mother and father who were together till death us do part. They were affectionate to each other. I grew up in a loving, wonderful home, but when we were talking about how we were told, what we're told about just sexual relations, you begin your period, you get the talk, you're a woman now, you can have babies now, blah blah. I mean, that didn't mean shit to me until I mean, that it was just like, what does this mean? And when I left home, I did take a lot of what I received from my parents with me. I really did. However, when it came to making decisions for myself and my life, it had nothing to do with them. If I'm making that clear.
I don't blame my parents for my grown decisions.
Right.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. My decisions were my decisions. And the truth be told, children, even before the internet and stuff, when they got to the ages of 11 and 12 and 13 and 14, and hormones are raging, they want to know. And we were discussing Zaya Wade kissing her boyfriend at 14 and having that picture posted. Now, some people had an issue with just the picture being posted, or that she was, busting, at 14, even when I was growing up, we were curious. We wanted to kiss. We wanted to, I had a handsome ass boyfriend named Ricky Blackman. And,
Yeah, right, Ricky.
and we would there were some woods that separated our homes, so we would I would ride my bike there, he'd ride his bike there, and we sit on this log, and we would talk and giggle, and we would try to kiss. I don't think we knew what we were doing, but we have been doing this all the time. It's like a passage. It's what bodies go through as young
human
people.
nature.
Yeah, and nowadays though, it's just so in our faces. We have all of
And I
these
think that's it for the most part.
Yeah,
that's
it's so
the
all in our
concern.
faces.
And that's the concern about the culture, is that it's exacerbating human nature. So, and that becomes harder to, I guess, guide. And that's why some parents are so overprotective, because they're having to go up against a culture that's also like kind of exaggerating natural phenomena.
I heard a sister on here say she was 50 years old and she could take sex or leave it. Okay, and I want to speak on that. Being 58 years old,
I'm here.
And when it stops working, a lot of times these men stop working. When it stopped working, what do? Like, you understand what I'm saying? When it stops working. So that's why one time we was on the panel and I blew it up when I said,
I was here, I heard it.
I said, I just want to say sex has 0% to do with a relationship.
Exactly. Oh, I understand.
Yeah, because at one point,
That's not everything.
A lot of these men, these women are young. These women are young. Okay, so they're young, and they're in a good state in their life. They're lawyers. Well, let me get a legit couple up here. 2 lawyers. They get married. They put a lot into their relationship. They buy a big old giant house. They have beautiful children. Oh, here comes an affair. Oh my goodness. Oh, she can't forgive him because of the affair. All of that The children, mental health, the house, everything got to go because of an affair. You understand?
Okay, so when you say that, do you think that that's healthy? That your
No,
children
I don't.
think
I
it's
know.
okay?
I don't say. I don't believe
Okay.
that a woman should ever give up her relationship because of an affair. If the man still loves her, if the man is asking for forgiveness, and
I don't believe that my daughters should think that it's okay that their husband go outside their marriage.
Right.
I know my daughters say I'm crazy, but I told them what I said, and I meant what I said. I don't feel that any relationship should break up over affair. I'm sorry.
Can I ask you a question, Miss Barbara? If
Yes.
your daughters were married to a man and then they stepped out on the man, do you think that the man would have the right to leave your daughters for stepping out on them?
I will hope
Works
so.
both ways.
I will hope so.
That's what you would hope that the man would leave the daughter?
No, I will hope that they will have forgiveness. I mean, I don't believe that a woman, I don't feel that a woman, see, for me, I put it to my bucket of water. Put my bucket of water there and drop some ketchup in there. You can't take it out, okay? But give me a water hose and put some ketchup on the floor and I can rinse it out. Stop playing with me. That's just the way I feel. I feel a woman defiles herself. When she steps off, I'm not promoting my page, but go to my page. There's a lot of these things I'm saying. I have videos.
Nah, I know where I'm not with nah.
Miss, my question, okay, Miss. The only reason I'm asking, Miss Barbara, is I'm trying to understand why it is you feel like it sounds to me like you feel as if a man is above a woman in some type of way, where he is allowed to be indiscriminate with what he does and have no morals, and we're supposed to just deal with it. And I'm not understanding why you feel that way when you are also a woman
Well, she
yourself.
already said it.
All
She
right,
said
I'm
a woman,
Let me
a
say it.
man.
Let me say it. I feel that men are God gifted a woman on this earth. I feel
And
that
as a man, Miss Barbara,
okay,
as a man.
y'all not gonna let me finish, and then y'all could say what y'all
Oh,
gotta say. Y'all gotta
okay,
let
go
me
ahead.
know why I feel the way
Okay,
I feel. I
you got it.
strongly feel that a man is God's gift to a woman. Okay, that's what I strongly feel, and I feel that as long as he loves me, that if he want to soak his royal oaks, he can. Now you can say what you want to say.
But why do you think that
Okay, well,
they're God's gift to us and us not to them?
right. I can.
But they was created for us. We wasn't
Hey,
created.
Miss Barbara.
What?
I don't think that's why God went.
Well,
Miss Barbara.
people was doctored to believe, the government doctored people to believe what they want them to believe, to control them and to control the population. Okay, and that's the bottom line.
As a teenager that was married in high school, that was married 35 years until death, I disagree. If he had stepped out after I had 6 babies, he had to get out my house.
Oh, and you would have been with your babies by yourself. What would you be proving?
He was well
That
off.
she can do
would
it
have been
without a
fine.
man.
But my daughters would not have been raised that it's okay for their husband to go outside. No way.
Because when somebody goes outside and has an affair, and it does work both ways. I have a close friend who is a musician, and he's a well-known one, and he would go out on the road and he would have him a woman in every port. And then he decided he wanted to get married. Now, he met a woman that he said he loved, and she seemed to love him. They got married. A few years go by, and he's still out cheating. One day, I don't know if it was something I said, because he would confess these things to me, and he decided he would go home and just tell your wife these things. She needs to know. Well, things blew up, and it was a painful time for them. She was so humiliated by him just being that cavalier, going out on the road, and when you come back, you're with me. I'm sure it felt for Rachel like a betrayal. Anyway, she meets someone, and they are still both in the same house and haven't really worked out his cheating situation. But she she gets close to a man, and all of a sudden he's not forgiving. He wants her out of the house. He wants to take back all of his stuff because she dared, while being faithful to him in all of his foolishness, she dared to have a friend and get close to that friend. I don't know if they were ever physical, but he was a close friend. And he was not forgiving. He wasn't kind. When people step out on you physically, it feels like a betrayal. And people can say it didn't mean nothing. It just
There's a betrayal when you have a house full of babies.
Especially if you have children, it feels like a betrayal.
The truth of the matter is 90%.
And maybe you cannot.
Relationships.
But if someone is going to continue to step out on you, maybe once, okay, perhaps twice, but when it becomes serial behavior, that is intolerable.
So let me ask you this question, and I definitely understand and agree. Jace, and so when you say serial, because I'm looking at Gia here, what is serial? Is it like if a man who cheats once every 4 years, would you consider that serial?
No, not at all. What I'm talking about is somebody who
it's not also acceptable if he cheats in large gaps.
No. All right, let me just back up. I don't like cheating. I don't do it. So I really have a hard time with somebody who cheats. When a person, and maybe it's because I saw it so much on the road, when men are in positions where women think are adoring them. They want to be with them. They don't care if they're married. They don't care anything about them. And men fall into that. These men were going out on the road, and it was every time they went on the road, and because music was their business, they were on the road frequently. They had to keep the money coming in. To me, when a person confesses an affair, I can probably get over that. If I'm confident in knowing, okay, women know things. You know when your man is stepping out. You just know it. Like you said, we're empathic. We can feel it. Now, if he does it once, I could potentially get over that if it's sincere. But if he's just some whore and he'll stick his dick in a gasoline tank, that is what I call a serial cheater. That is someone who is just going, like that gentleman you talked about before he had a deep dive within himself to say, I was giving my wife what I was giving all these other women. There are men and women who just do it like that. They're in a so-called committed relationship. However, they still have all of their traps and their side pieces, and they haven't sacrificed anything outside of that relationship to be monogamous. Does that make sense? Yeah. They're not sacrificing anything.
Nah, that don't make sense at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
I can understand where you're coming from.
Well, I don't want women to look at other women that have been in long-term relationships and think that they didn't go through some things.
I'm sure they did.
You can go through some things, but that don't mean that you have to let nobody take advantage of you and think
mostly 90% of those things, 90%, if not 95, have been another affair. That's what I'm saying.
But a number of affairs, that's what I'm speaking of.
Yeah, that's serious.
I guess I went all
well, I believe a half an affair or a whole affair, AIDS is real. And if you go out there and you do it, you stay out there. Because I love myself and my body.
Let's clear up this definition of what serial is. Serial just means repetitive. So if you I don't care if it's once every 4 years, once every 5 years. If you are a repetitive cheater, you are a serial cheater. Okay. And again, to me, it is a matter of character. because if you're lying, cheating, deceiving, you're not only doing that sexually, you're doing it financially, mentally, emotionally, in every way possible. And it's like, because let me tell you this.
Point I was trying to make. Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, it's somebody that you walking past going to the store every day.
And let me tell you this: if men didn't think cheating was that bad, then why aren't they screaming it from the rooftops? Like, you doing it in secret because you know it's wrong.
Right.
Exactly.
That part.
That's what I'm talking about. And you're yet saying you're in a relationship with a woman, and I appreciate this man's wife because I feel like she was long suffering, and to me that takes a lot of strength. I don't know that I have that kind of strength. I don't.
Well, I mean, if you guys agree on something, it's definitely a blessing if y'all can deal with that. But when you have no clue as to what's going on and tell your neighbor telling you that they seen him next door or whatever the case,
right?
No, that's a different story.
Yeah, if your wife is with it, then that's you and your wife's business.
Y'all rock
she
out.
don't know about
You
it.
feel me?
Like that just don't make no sense to me. I don't even understand why we accepting this bad behavior as, and that's what I say about we allow men to be a certain way. Society that set these standards.
Exactly.
But let me
Because
ask y'all,
even in society, like we say, oh, boys are just less mature. So we already implant that idea in their head from children that they don't have to be as mature as us. We can't tell
boys will be boys.
But let me ask y'all
boys
this.
will be boys. And
Hello. Let me ask y'all.
I'm sorry.
This question. Because for me, I mean, I practice all styles of relationship. I've been in polygamous relationships. I've been in polyamorous relationships. Obviously, I've been in monogamous relationships. So for the people who are talking about cheating, I'm getting the sense is that some people cannot be with somebody who wants to be with other people. Is that the issue or the health? Because it's not the thing that makes cheating bad is the deception behind it. Like I don't care if you want to be with other people. I can be
not
people who
like
want
polygamy and polyamory and stuff like that. I love people in those type of relationships, right? Because everybody knows what's going on.
Right, that's different.
But you
when
can't
you know.
lie to me, deceive me. You know what I'm saying? Betray me. Lower my self-esteem. Now you got my self-esteem. I'm questioning my own self-esteem, my own self-worth. You're damaging me mentally, emotionally.
Next thing, her baby and my baby a month apart and all this.
Right, they go to school together and stuff.
Okay, hold on. So let me ask.
For me,
hold on, y'all. So,
I have a delay. Let me see.
I'm okay. So is there anybody just one by one say yes or no? Who here believes that once a cheater, always a cheater? Or twice a cheater, always a cheater? Or 3 times a cheater, always a cheater? Who believes
I do
that? Okay. Jace?
I do.
Refuse to lose?
I can't just say that because if you're a teenager, then things happen. But when you're full blown, as an adult, yes.
Grown folks. Okay.
I do when you got a family attached. Yes, I do.
Okay, hold on. Is it a family attached or like is the cheater a cheater or not? Like I mean,
yep.
Okay. C. Marie. Once a cheater, always a cheater?
I don't know. I think people can change. I think people can change.
Okay, you think people can change? Okay. Ty. Once a cheater, always a cheater?
It depends on the situation.
Okay. So
people could change, though. I have to say that.
Yes.
Okay. So
I agree.
Okay, because I Miss Barbara, I want to cheat off. Well, shit.
Jesus.
She down for
Jesus.
I mean,
my question. I waited my turn.
The man.
Okay.
Out of line.
Once a cheater is, and it's only a yes or no because I got a follow-up question. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Yes or no? No.
Right.
Okay, no. Okay, because I was going to ask Oz because Oz spoke about experiencing infidelity in her marriage. So Mrs. Oz, like, I'm sure you heard these statements growing up. So what makes you a believer in reformation? Like why do you think it's possible for someone to not cheat again who has violated their relationship in that way?
Because I don't hold anybody to perfection standards in the first place. I think all of us are fallible and all of us are capable of making mistakes. And as long as we're sincere in wanting redemption from them, then that's what it is. We did the work and we're yet still doing work on our relationship. Nothing is ever perfect, but because we love each other enough to make the effort. And I've told him, because of my opening up about my sexuality, about my bisexuality with him also, it's opened up a whole other field of sexual experiences for us in the first place. Had I been honest with him in the very beginning, letting him know that I was bisexual, who knows, he may never have stepped outside of our marriage in the first place, because we may have been sharing in that type of stuff. Right. We may have already been sharing it. I personally, I don't care when I'm with a woman. I don't care if the woman gets me off or not. I get off on getting her off. That's what gets me off. I am a pleaser by nature. I like to please. That's what I like to do. So pretty much I'm getting off on watching her get off on what I'm doing to her. I can get off on watching my husband be with another woman. He is uncomfortable with that. He's uncomfortable with being with the woman. He prefers just watching me.
Let me ask you a question. When you and your husband went through your situation, how many children did you have already?
6.
Wow.
We were already 17 years into our marriage already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were already deep into the marriage, and it wasn't just. And here's the thing: it wasn't the sexual betrayal that hurt me. It was thinking that he could emotionally give himself to somebody else.
Right.
That
is well.
It really was not the sex. I could share him sexually. That wasn't the part. It was his heart that I thought belonged only to me, and the thought that he could give that piece of him to somebody else.
So let me ask you.
When you're in a relationship with someone, don't you expect that? I always thought when you were in a relationship with someone and we were actively in this relationship, that it was a commitment into the relationship. So I agree with you, Oz, being open about who you were helped. Perhaps not at the beginning, but at the time you did, and in the way you did it, was a wonderful thing. I just feel that emotion is attached when someone cheats. I don't know how you can.
Well, that's because Jace, you specifically assign emotions to your sex, so that would be the way that
True.
Yeah. I mean, like if you are somebody who experiences sex with your emotions, then it's hard to believe that men who definitely can participate in sex recreationally
without emotion,
right?
I don't believe that
in that way.
Yeah,
just for nothing. Definitely.
I do not believe that, and I hate that has become like this widespread narrative.
It's true though.
If you out in the club and somebody fall and trip on your dick, and I'll be like, damn, I can't believe that happened. But when a lot of guys, when they cheat, they talking on the phone with this person every day. They buying them stuff. They taking them out to eat. Even if it's not love, it's some form of emotion attached.
No, like you're talking about like side chick culture. That side chick culture. There are some men who are not courting the women they casually have sex with and then go home back to their wives. Like it's men who, like, especially a lot of high value men, even pay for sex. Like they literally hook up with escorts and have wives at home. They're not interested in these women and knowing these women and spending any quality time. It's a wham bam thank you ma'am type of situation. But they're definitely a side chick culture, which is the culture you're talking about. Then there's the men who are literally cultivating relationship and emotional relationship to another woman or other women, having a whole other family on the other side of town and shit. That also definitely happens too. It also depends on the nature of the cheating. Like if your man got other babies and a whole wife, a whole fiance as well on the east side of town, then you
know what's crazy? I wouldn't even be as mad if it was a prostitute. I would look at him like, you nasty mother effer. But I would be like, I slick will be curious, like, how was that? I hope you use the condom. I mean, it would. I
Yeah,
wouldn't say
so
like
much would be on your
honest
mind. Like, how
about
did
it.
this play out? Did you use something?
Right.
Now,
I
Or
wouldn't
you
see,
gonna
be
see how it
nonchalant
ends?
about it, but I wouldn't
Yeah,
be as mad
I can't.
I
or
think that
hurt.
I think us as women, when we get cheated on, unfortunately, we don't immediately start thinking about what was wrong with the man. We start thinking about, okay, what did I do? What did I do? Why?
Yep.
What's
Yep.
wrong with
Yeah.
me? What did I do that made him go out and do that? There must be something wrong with me that made him go out and do that. That's what women tend to do. When a woman cheats on a man, the man's ego is hurt immediately. He doesn't think about what's wrong with him. He immediately says, "Oh, that's that hoe. She a hoe. That's what's
The
wrong with
whole
her. It's
shit.
her.
Yeah.
It's her
You have
problem."
my
He
friend
doesn't
is
internalize it.
yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't internalize it and make it a him issue. We
Mhm.
women internalize it and make it a us issue. It's not
Mhm.
he did something and it's not about me. It's about what's wrong with him. It was something that was wrong with him, not me. And that for a long time, bothered me. And that was part of the stuff that we had to work on, because I kept telling him, I was asking him why did you do it? And because he
Yeah.
couldn't tell me, he said, I don't really have an answer. I can't tell you why I did it. There's not a real reason. That worried me. Because I was like, okay, if you don't know why you did it, then that worried me, making me think, well, if you can't give me a reason, then maybe you're going to turn around and do it
Let's do it.
again. What I
Right.
had to realize was, at the end of the day, I don't really need to be concerned about it. I love myself, and I need to love myself enough to know that if he does do it again, I'm the one who has to make the decision. Am I going to forgive him and to choose to stay with him, or am I going to tell him to kick rocks? It ultimately comes down to me and how much I love me. I got to
Yes.
love me.
Yes.
But you know,
Yes.
Stop
that's
hinging.
also a cultural thing. Like in our community, it's often the woman's fault. Like we don't even allow men to take accountability or be able to learn how to place accountability or
That's so true.
responsibility. Because it's like we naturally as women, we're gonna blame ourselves because our community has always said it's the woman's fault. And I think it's only today's time where women are starting to wake up and be like, man, you know what? Him cheating is not my fault.
Okay.
This XYZ is not my fault.
Well,
Let me
exactly. And see,
say
that's
it,
the thing.
ladies.
My
I
now,
want to ask you, ladies. I want to ask
my
you, ladies.
husband.
Oh my goodness. I need to ask you, ladies,
Hold
something.
on.
Right.
As soon as Oz completes her sentence, Miss Barbara, then you can ask the ladies on the panel question.
I was going to say that one of the things that my husband constantly kept telling me was, it has nothing to do with you because you were doing everything that a wife is supposed to do. There wasn't anything lacking. I have literally never told this man no when it comes to sex. Seriously. And I've never told him no. He's never heard the word no out my mouth. I get no more often than this man has ever heard it. So he couldn't say that he wasn't getting frucked on a regular basis. That was happening. I was taking care of the kids and the household. So I was doing everything I was supposed to do. So whatever it was that was in him that he needed to heal, or he needs to heal and fix from, that's what caused him to step out and do what he did. It ain't got shit to do with me. I made the decision. I made the decision in my heart that I loved him enough, and he was my friend enough and my best friend that I didn't want to lose my friend. I made the decision that I was going to work with him, and we were going to work together to see if this was something we could fix and heal together. Now,
Right.
had it went a different way and it looked like he wasn't interested in trying to heal anything, or he just was like, oh, okay, you took me back, that means I can do whatever, we wouldn't be together. We wouldn't be together at all. It would have been a done data, because that would have been it.
I think that's a part of one of the ills of the way that patriarchy got all this shit set up, is that women are gonna blame themselves because women are groomed to be chosen, not to do the choosing. So of course women are going to atone for the sins of men and feel that there's something I'm not doing, because women from the time that their children are cultivated to be chosen and to be well adept for a man. That's why you're giving your Barbie dolls, you're giving your easy bake ovens, you're giving all of these rules around femininity and womanhood, because you're being groomed for a man. You're being groomed to be a wife from the time that you come into the world as a woman. This is also why your mothers and your fathers are hard on you, because they're preserving your virginity for the man who gets to be entitled to your purity. So we socialize men to do the choosing and socialize women to be chosen. And then because of that patriarchal design, the ill effect on men is that because men, as we've already stated here on this panel, are not, because of the toxicity and the brand of masculinity that's being projected onto men, men don't even have the emotional resources to know why they do what the fuck they do. So because the patriarchy has desensitized them and removed the need for emotional intelligence. So men are just acting out and making decisions that they don't necessarily, without any context as to what's going on with me, because under a patriarchy, men have had the luxury of not having to question themselves.
Yeah.
They have had the luxury of knowing that women are going to blame themselves and see where they can do better at to make him happier in their relationship. So all this privilege that has been afforded to men has left men emotionally stupid. And that's why I'm here for the divine feminine coming into reality to start speaking up for herself and to start demanding and declaring what her needs are and pushing against some of this disproportionate privilege that men exist in. Like all of that's coming under confrontation now that we're entering into the age of Aquarius. So this is why we're seeing Black Lives Matter, LGBT equality movement, the women's equality movement. All of those are symptoms and aspects and attributes of the divine feminine. So I think it's just toxic as fuck. Like patriarchy got men fucked up and patriarchy got women fucked up. Ms. Barbara, you had a question that you wanted to pose to the women on the panel.
No, I just, being 58 years old, I have witnessed a lot of things, and the saddest thing that I have.
Okay, hold on for a minute. I'm sorry. Somebody also has like a clicking sound and some feedback. So if you're not speaking, can you just please mute? Unless you're speaking. Oh, I think it was just to lose who got that clicking sound actually. Okay, Ms. Barbara, go ahead.
The saddest thing that I have witnessed, being 58 years old, I have witnessed like a woman say she's 55, okay, and her husband is 50. She's a little older than him, so he go get a younger woman, and then this younger woman winds up dogging him. He can't even work no more. Like his body ain't even working no more. He's now in his 60s. He's finished. But all along, while he's tortured because he made a dumb decision to leave his good wife that's still unmarried, haven't even found another husband. See, all of this could have been avoided if they would have just got over the first situation, whereas when he wanted to be forgiven for messing with this young lady, he wanted to be forgiven and go back to his wife. All of that could have been avoided. So they just, in their old age, spend 10 years more of misery, wanting to be with each other, him tolerating this younger woman. All right, I might as well just keep her. I done ruined my whole damn marriage for this damn thing right here. I might as well just keep her. Now he miserable. She walking all over him, spending his money on a younger man. And this one, and the wife is home miserable. Come on now. That's what I've just been witnessing. It's pathetic to witness.
Yeah, that's why that man needs to be a leader of his household, recognize his wrongs,
Nobody's
himself,
perfect.
and go get his family back.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And
Yeah, and that
sometimes
exactly, and that's why
But
I'm
I
saying
don't
it's
think
like
co-signing cheating is good either.
right.
Because then
It's
what
like
does that teach your children? That their husbands could go out or their wife could go and do the same thing and it's okay? No.
I'm just
it's like
saying
Oz and her
redemption is
husband, right?
deserved
She
for
realized
everybody.
that her husband
Forgiveness.
wasn't perfect,
Learn
but he
forgiveness.
was willing to do the work. Like this man decided just to stay with the young girl. He took the easy route, like, oh, she gone. Might as well just let her
No,
be gone.
because his
I'm just
wife
gonna
wouldn't take him back because she's so embarrassed by her friends and families and associates. They so busy in her ear, oh girl, you gonna do this, all in her damn business. So now she miserable and alone, and he's miserable with this young thing, spending his money on other women and all of that. He can't even work no more. Instead of them spending their golden years together.
Well, when you make them
with
decisions, it's a price
women
you gotta
who
pay.
have
That's
taken
it.
their husbands back after they have been out, as you said, spreading their oats. I have spoken to women who have taken their husbands back after they've gone out and had their adventures. However, when they return, it's their bodies aren't working anymore. They're falling in. I mean, all of that's gone and over. And sometimes, in one particular case, the husband's body is just broken down. So now she has become his caretaker.
Mhm.
I think
That's what I'm talking about.
it was during a time when even if women were supposed to, because of what the church was saying, and
You know, a lot of times they just love their husbands. You know, you just
speak
love your
well.
husband and you until death do you part. You don't
Let me
care
tell you, I know an
about
older couple.
sexually,
They
active
married.
no more.
He was running around. He sleep in a different room. She sleep in a different room. He still did what he needed to do in the house. He still had that other woman, and now she's sick. He got to take care of her. But my thing is this: it's not that she was holding on. I think if you still love your husband, you don't put him in the basement. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think if you forgive your husband, you don't put him in the basement because you say he's still gonna pay the bills. Because you could get a divorce and he could still pay them bills.
Right. Some people just don't be
But
wanting to be
for
alone.
you to
They don't want to
separate
be
him
alone.
from the whole household and say you forgive him, that's nonsense.
Yeah, I don't think that's real forgiveness.
It's
I
not.
don't.
No.
That's you getting your get back. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's real.
It
That's
sounds
real.
like
CTV, can we talk about this though?
sounds good to me.
Can we talk about
I can't, Barbara.
can we talk about the part of the interview where Gia was talking about had her mom, like her mom, God, what did she say? It was like something like her God gave her mom dementia for a reason or something, because had her mind been a lucid mind, she would have never been able to go back to envy. Like, how did everybody feel about that? I would look at her
Okay,
like,
hold on.
what the
Hold on.
Say
Can you
that
say that?
again?
Yeah, and refuse to lose its feedback in your phone, boo. It's a lot of click clacking. Okay. Can you say that again, see Marie?
So in DJ Envy and his wife in the interview, she
I
was
didn't see
saying,
that part of the interview.
okay, so she was saying how her mom was this strong Jamaican woman and she didn't tolerate cheating at all. She would always tell her, if any man cheated on you, leave him. But she was like, by the time she found out that Envy was cheating on her, her mom had dementia. So she really didn't know what was going on. She was like, she thanked God. One of the positives about her mom having dementia or whatever is that if her mom hadn't had dementia, it was no way she could have went back to Envy, because her mom would have been like, no, that's a no-go. So she pretty much she chalked it up to God, like God did this to my mom because it was something like that. But I was just
Gia
like, what?
Cassie is in the goddamn fucking place.
Yeah. A little
She
bit.
really is going to blind. So she believes that God would destroy the rest of her mother's life just so that she would be
Yes.
capable of talking her out of her toxic marriage.
That's
to
ridiculous.
God
That
damn it.
doesn't make any sense.
See what I'm saying?
So you
Okay,
missed
that
that
makes
whole part of the
sense. There's no way.
interview. So you missed the fact that Tyrese, somebody that they don't know, told her to stay with her husband, and that was also God telling her that she should go back to her husband, because Tyrese and some guy that she knows both said the same thing, so there had to be a sign
Sung
from
a
God.
song. Tyrese sung a song. It sounded good to her heart. He could sing. He gave her that soul. He sung a song. You ever been to a concert and hear the whispers? Like when I was young, when I went to a concert and I heard Teddy, my people I love to hear sing, I almost fainted. Like, it's just a good feeling. He gave her a good feeling.
Well, Miss Barbara, I have been out on the road with people who sing those kinds of songs. And trust me, they can make other women swoon, but they're not being true to a woman or their woman with those very same things. Those men were the ones, like I was talking about, my friend, who out on the road, he's got women everywhere.
No, but
And
Envy
he
was
wanted
trying to
his
get
wife
his
to
wife
forgive
back. He
his
was trying to be
transgressions.
forgiven. We
But
talk
when
about a
she,
man that was begging for his wife forgiveness, and now they doing good.
well, good. If who is that? Oz, didn't you say if someone is truly serious about wanting redemption, really wanting to work through whatever it is that causes him to cheat in the first place, or for a woman that matter, that people, I get it. People can change. And when somebody is sincere about wanting to do that, it would be difficult to throw them to the curb.
I want to address
if
the
you love
parents.
them.
Somebody said Barbara is single as F. No, Barbara has to turn down about 20 men trying to get in her tail, 20 married men trying to get in her tail a night, and is proudly to say that she turns every one of them down because they married. Yeah, that's what Barbara doing. And also got to turn down young boys all day long. Okay, that's what Barbara's doing, trying to keep her body as a temple. Yeah.
When my mother gave me the talk after I began to menstruate, and I started at 10, she did tell me that when you lay down with a man, that's the most sacred thing that you can give them. So when I went out in the world after leaving their house, that was my thinking. Oh, if I'm sleeping with him, he has to feel the same way about me as I do about him. I'm loving him. He has to love me. And the tough lesson was to find out it wasn't so.
Sex wasn't love.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Miss
I
Barbara,
do
I have
want
a
to share.
question for you, Miss Barbara.
Okay.
Yes, darling.
Because I know
And
you
I
believe.
want you to answer something for me too, because you're the only
Okay.
genius I know on this internet.
Oh Lord.
After you answer this,
Oh
after I
Lord.
answer your question, you're the only genius
Stop,
I know, because I
stop,
need you to
Barbara.
answer something. Go ahead, answer.
Okay. I know that you believe that men are a gift to women. You believe
God's gift to
are
women.
God's
Yes.
gift to women.
Yes.
And I know that you are a follower and disciple of Christ. And
Yes. Black
so I think the Bible is pretty
No. Don't go by that Bible, baby. My Jesus Christ don't got nothing to do with King James. My Jesus
well, I'm
Christ
not
is
just
I don't go by that Bible,
I'm not
baby.
talking about King James per se, but
um,
I'm just using like a point of reference, like that's familiar to you spiritually, even though I do know that you get your knowledge straight from Heaven's Gate. Yes, I understand. But hell, I mean, all spiritual paths, like all the mystics, kind of like for the most part, unanimously agree that both feminine and masculine are two sides of the same divine coin, which makes both feminine and masculine consciousness God. They just have separate functions, but nonetheless are equal in substance. So why is it that you don't believe like that? Because even the scriptures state that I have made both male and female in my image. I made them in my image, both male and female.
Because they took God prophecy and made it into profit. Okay, and they want to dictate. One thing they wanted to stop was kings and chiefs being made. You understand? So they put that law on a black man. So now that everybody's doctored and dictated, they feel if they go beyond that, they're doing something wrong. You understand? They feel that they're going against their God. That's why they used, and that's why they turned the Bible around to enslave people's minds and control people. You understand?
Let me ask you this question too. Over the last 1,000 years, if men were God's gift to women, why have women been exploited over the last 1,000 years globally? Why have women been enslaved? Why are Middle Eastern women
because the demons have took everything godly everything on this earth that's godly, like black man and woman that's godly, is depressed on this earth. Because this earth is hell and judgment. So everything that's depressed on this earth is godly.
But Miss Barbara.
Like the man and the black man. You understand?
But Miss Barbara.
Right now, and the kings have risen. Trust that.
I don't believe everybody.
I ain't finished with Miss Barbara yet. Miss Barbara. But do you realize that the contemporary world is largely only stitched together because of the efforts that the feminine principle is making in the world? Do you realize that the Black community has only survived white patriarchy, has only survived Black male patriarchy because women stayed in place, regardless of whether the men were dying of crack or being incarcerated by the bundles? That the only reason why we even have something that has survived all of the things that the Black community has been through is because of women.
First of all, when you can't just say, you got to say Black woman. You understand? Because the only thing that this earth wants from a Black woman is our children. Okay, that's it. All right. And they have been destroying us, and we will become extinct if we don't separate ourselves as the kings and queens that we are. They turned us into pimps, prostitutes.
So wait, but that's what I don't understand about your ideology, Barbara, is that on one end you make women practically just a tool that is at the
Holy Spirit, the creator of this universe, the creator of this earth and universe is a woman. The creator of this
and
earth.
What do we call the creator, Miss Barbara?
Holy Spirit.
God.
No. God is Jesus. God is Dr. Martin Luther King. God is Gandhi. God is
also the wife that was the backbone to those
to
those men.
And these women on these panels. God is. Black kings and Black Americans are different. You did not come from underneath a slave ship. Trust and believe we're different. We're rulers. We're different. We was made to rule this world. The richest of this world is love, not money. The richest, we're going to go into something totally different. So stop that right here. So let me ask you my question, you genius.
That's what you want to do for me, you know.
I need you to answer this question, genius. What is a high value man? Because I don't think it exists. I think the word is something, the biggest joke of the 20th century.
We just
a high value man. Because if a high value man is a lawyer that made over $29 million, I've had that. Or a man making 10 million, I've had that. Don't talk about I'm not talking about the drug cartels into the astronomical numbers. There's no such a thing as a high value man. The only high value man on this earth is a righteous man that has a God. That old trickster KS, that's a trickster, a swindler. That's a swindler. Oh, I made some videos about Mr. Yeah. I made some good ones about him. Squashed him like a bug. He ain't nothing but a swindler. Okay.
Well, I know what Kevin Samuels defines as a high-valued man.
I don't want to hear Kevin. I want you. Your opinion.
But I don't even use the term. I really don't even really. I mean, like that's not my
terminology. Go ahead, tell me.
That's not my particular terminology. But if I had to define a high-valued man,
no. Wait a minute. Let me ask you the question again, genius. What is your definition of a high-value man? That is the question.
Well, I just established to you that that's not even my lingo. So that's not even my brand. Like I don't even use the term high value man. But
it don't exist.
Well, based upon the generality of the term defined by the manosphere, if I had to refine it in the likeness of CTV, there are definitely some things I would add in there. Like I'm okay with the attributes of a high value man being a man who is financially strong, who has a financial backbone, who has equity and decent credit and all things that will make life
All about the money.
that will make life
Those are the
healthy. Hello,
most-
Miss Barbara, let me
Okay.
answer.
Okay, because those are some of the most
Miss Barbara, let me answer the question. Miss Barbara, let God answer the question.
Okay.
Okay. So, and that was sarcasm, by the way. I would keep all of those attributes: the money part, the financial independence part, all things that will make life whole for a family and for a wife, etc. What I would add in is I will also think of a high valued man is a man who has done the work, a man who has a heightened sense of emotional intelligence, a man who seeks love, who expresses love, who acts from love, a man who sees a woman an equal value to himself, even if they play different roles in the relationship, that there's still equal value between both of those genders. And yeah, that's what I would add in to the whole high value bullshit. I'm okay with all of the materiality part, but
that's definitely a pile of it, and get a shovel, because baby, they could be some of the most nasty men with money, could be some of the most nastiest ones that you ever want. I've never met one nasty, but I'm saying I've seen women be swindled by these things. You understand, and dragged along and strung along by these things. I had 8 brothers. Oh my God, please. Ooh, please. Please. 8 brothers. I had to be raised with 8 brothers in the house. Only girl in the house. My sisters.
I have a question.
Woo.
I have a question, Miss Barbara.
Yes.
Hey, Reckless, welcome to the panel. And welcome
Reckless, how are you, darling?
Reckless.
Beautiful angel. Reckless, I'm not going to wreck your nerves tonight. I yield.
And before you get started, Reckless, I want to also introduce Get a Clue, who I want to also go right after Reckless. Go ahead, Reckless.
Miss Barbara, is too late. You already started. But anyway, okay. So so do you believe that you growing up or having 8 brothers, do you think that's why you probably have certain belief systems or ideologies?
No, I had a spiritual awakening. You know, I was raised in the church every day to believe much different about everything, and I had a spiritual awakening. You know, that's just about. I mean, you know, I mean, I have to come against. I have elders that I have to come against. I have ministers that I have to come against, and none of them have been able to strike me and things that I've been saying down. You know, I've had a revelation, so. That's just it. I mean, I don't even be wanting to be saying the things or doing the things. What I really want to do is have a page called Ghetto in the Kitchen and teach these children how to cook some soul food and clean their food and, you know, and things like that. I don't want to be preaching. God been making me do this. I was born to do it. That's all I ever do. You ask anybody about me, everybody around me, I've made millions and I'm poor. I'm penniless. I'm in the gutter, like everybody else, like Moses in the pit. You understand? I had everything stripped from me. You understand? I was in the I mean, I lived a life of luxury all of my daggone life, and then bam, lost everything except my life. You know, and it's just, you know, I was raised whereas you with Dr. Martin Luther King, you know, and the hustlers, and then you had God, you know, you had the Christians. So you know, just like today, me and the lead, I'm going to say his name. I don't want to say his name because I don't want nobody striking nobody.
The lead attorney is fine.
Okay, lead attorney. Me and him get into it because I can't stand to see, you know,
he's a supporter and a subscriber of this platform.
People, descendants talk to me. You understand the things that I say? I've been fighting people cases. You don't understand. I've been dealing with some very high political people in the United States of America. Let me put it to you like that, son. You understand? And this has been going on since I've been 5 years old. I've been dealing with top people. I done got people jobs and railroads and unions and what. This is what I've always have done. Right now what I'm working on is for the gang members of this world. We're going to monopolize this marijuana because we're going to sue. And I don't like the fact that the lead attorney could get these high value men together and change the child support laws for these high value men, and they could stop being tricked for their seeds. Laws are made to be changed. Jim Crow laws was changing. They took our communities away. They locked up the Black Panthers. They locked up the real men, and they put NAACP, friends, associates, and that hold the ghetto down. And we don't get what I'm busting the ghetto. I'm finding that dime. I'm exposing the housing preservation development money. They got me on the blackball list. Yo, you don't understand. I'm actually putting my life in jeopardy. The things that I be saying and doing, I'm exposing a whole county of judges and police officers that killed gang members, okay, unlawfully and got away with it. I'm on the blackball list. You understand? They got me in the bondage, but I don't care, because if it takes my life, hey, that's what it is. I'm going to expose it. So the next generation don't have to go through what I'm going through, the homelessness, when our descendants died for us to get apartments, the affirmative action, when they died for us to get our jobs first. Stop playing with me. That's why they blackballed me out of the county, because they was taking advantage of Black people, robbing them, killing them, doing all kinds of stuff, and I was exposing it, and I'm still exposing it. I've been approached. I am watched. Trust me, I am watched. I am monitored. The police know me. The detectives know me. Everybody know me in my county that I'm in. And I'm not to be played with. I don't.
Okay, Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara. I have a question, because keep in mind, I just came in, so I don't know if you already answered. I've been meaning to ask you this for the longest. I always forget. I don't know if I ever. And plus, I don't even know if I ever asked you this. Why do you believe, or you come to the conclusion, that men are the gift to the world?
Because they're stronger. They was here to do labor for us. You understand? To carry out things, to build our properties, to build out. We are to guide them. A woman is to guide a man, you know, and then we are to produce, to make more little kings and queens. You know, he's to have more than one wife. We're to get along and love one another. You understand? But that's in the, you know, that's just the bottom line and the fact. I wasn't raised like that. Wasn't raised to believe that.
Well, I have a question. Wait.
I know to be true.
Wait, Miss Barbara, are you married?
In my world.
Because you know what? I've been born again. I'm telling you, I've been born again. I was Egyptian. I was a slave to a king and queen. That's what I was in my past life. And I felt my past life. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all don't know what I have to deal with. Okay. First of all, you know, at one point I got children that are so snooty and you know, they call themselves, you know, they deal with a lot of rap stars and all of this stuff and a lot of important people, and they be like, Ma, you can't be on the internet because you're gonna ruin our lives. You're gonna ruin our lives. But anyway, make a long story short, I'm serious about my testimony, and it was like this. For 6 months, I was working for Liberty, wearing that crazy outfit, but they turned the outfit into red. But anyway, just being out in the street, the officers, every officer, I had to actually get on my knees. This is what my body was making me do. Get on my knees and hug the officers' feet and pray for them. And as I was doing that, I could just feel the soul of the Egyptian just in me, just praying for them. And you could call my precinct in my neighborhood. We was the only precinct that did not have a riot. All of them was dispatched out. They come to my house very often because I don't play with my kids. You know, they all grown. I don't play with them. I don't play with nobody. You know, so I'm known not to be played with.
Miss Barbara.
Yes.
What do you think about Proverbs 19:14, which says, "House and wealth are inherited from fathers, but a prudent wife is from the Lord"?
Well, first of all, I don't know what the hell prudent mean.
It's from the Lord, whatever it means.
Prudent. I don't know what prudent mean. Words are powerful with actions behind it. As I told you, the Bible was altered, in my opinion. My God don't have nothing to do with that King James Bible. They altered the gospel to make profit. Okay.
It means that a caring it means that a caring and loving woman is from the Lord.
Hey, so this is Shirley. Honey,
This
I've been
world is
married
so corrupt
for.
because they praying to the wrong one. They praying to the Father. That's what you
Can
need to
you hear
understand.
me?
They tricked that
You
Bible
just
so
be
y'all can pray to the
interrupting people,
Father.
Miss
Hold
Barbara.
on,
You
hold
pray
on,
to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
hold on. Wait, it's too many voices. Who is speaking?
This is Shirley, aka Get a Clue.
Hey,
I was
Shirley.
calling. I was calling in because I wanted to say, Black women, don't listen to Miss Barbara tell y'all that y'all need to stay with no man that's out here cheating
Hold
on
on.
you. We have all type of
Hold on for a minute.
STDs.
Hold on for a second. I refuse to lose. It's that feedback in your phone, Will. Okay, go ahead. I get a clue.
So I was saying, Black women, please do not listen to Miss Barbara telling y'all to stay with no cheaters. That is not how marriage works. I'm sorry. I've been married for 23 years. First of all, any man or a woman that is married that chooses to deal with a single person on the side, that means they don't want you, whether they in your DMs or at your mailbox or at your door. They don't want you. They don't really want to be bothered. That's why they dealing with you. Secondly, it's too many STDs. We, as a Black community, we've already been living through a pandemic, and that's HIV and AIDS. So please stop telling people that cheating is okay and we're supposed to just sit back and fall back and let a man do what he gonna do because
One
he
question. Out
he
of your
got
23 years, did he ever mess around on you? One question.
No. I don't tolerate that because see, this is how, and I'm 45 years old, so you ain't too much older than me.
I'm going to respectfully say that a lot of men are very clever. Okay.
Well, you can say what you want to say, but at the end
I'm
of the
just saying, like,
day,
I mean, I'm not
no,
getting
you
blown
ain't
out of shape.
finna sit up
You
here and
might
try to
be
make
that.
it seem
You might
like
be that incredible
my
one, but it
husband
never
is sitting.
happened.
Hold on,
Well, let's say that he was. Let's say that he was, and let's say that I found out. Honey, I will be gone so fast. Because, first of all, if you lie, you will steal. If you steal, you will kill. Now, that's something that my girl brother taught me. And that's something that is also in the Bible. Thou shalt not steal. You should not covet thy neighbor's goods. You need to pay attention to that word. You sitting up here talking about you, a follower of Christ, talking out
No,
the
not
side of
your
your neck.
Christ. Not your Christ. Not your
Oh,
Christ.
girl, whatever
Not your
Christ you
Christ.
talking about, you talking
Because
out
let
the
me tell
side
you
of your
something. You
neck.
still a
Cause
young
ain't no
lady.
married
You
man
45. You're only
looking.
45.
Ain't no married man.
Got
Ain't
a
no
long
married
way to
man in your
go.
DMs. This
You got a long
Shirley,
way to
and
go in
ain't
that
no married
marriage.
man in your DMs.
You
It's
got
just not. And then here's another thing. Anybody who would sit up here and live vicariously through their son's life, I understand the reason why your daughters have a problem with him if you're sitting up here putting him on a pedestal.
Ooh, I was thinking the same thing.
You know, I understand because clearly you probably raised them to be more responsible than you're raising him, and he's sitting up here being a lackluster dude. Like, what's the topic? DJ Envy. He's sitting up here having women fake orgasms too. It's not like we don't learn how to do that at a young age. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling women who are listening to you, Miss Barbara, don't listen to Miss Barbara. She is going to lead you to a path of distraction. You do not share these dusty, dirty, deep dudes. Don't share. You don't have to. Go where you are celebrated. You do not have to put up with foolishness. Men are supposed to be builders. They are not supposed to stay with their mama and be taken care of by their mama or be taken care of by no woman. Men are supposed to go out there and get it. That's what patriarchy claims. Now, if we are to be in our full feminist point of view, well then you still you still need to bring something to the table over not just only your penis. It should not just be that way. Miss Barbara, you out here tripping and stop giving people bad advice. That's what I wanted to come here
I'm
and
going to
say.
bed. I love y'all. I'm out.
Good night, Will.
But you know what? Miss Barbara is an agent of chaos. Like she talk all that spirituality and whatever, whatever. Every time she's on a panel, the whole topic just deviates and we just start talking about the weirdest thing. The whole conversation becomes all about her. She's an agent of chaos. She's always been.
Yes, she clearly is an agent of something. I don't know, but I just felt like I needed to be Shirley at that moment and call in.
I think that Miss Barbara is unique. I think there's a lot going on in Miss. I think she has a she's using a lot of her anecdotal experience to kind of shape her worldview. And yeah, interesting. She's interesting. We're at the 3:30 mark. Is there anything that you guys want to say in parting to the dialogue today, which was really good? There for a circle, we talked about orgasms and faking it till you make it, and cheating and socialization and patriarchy, and yeah, we dug in. So any final words, starting with you, Miss Oz and Mr. Oz?
Well, I thank God for being able to be on this platform and to be able to speak from a man's perspective. Hello, Mr. Reckless. Uh, a great sight. You're a great man. We enjoy watching you. And I enjoyed this commentary. It was a great commentary. We can agree and disagree. But as long as we come up with a consistency, everybody has their opinion. But for everyone to understand, what's good for you might not be good for the gander. It works for me. It has been for 27 years. I thank God for my wife. I thank God she gave me a second chance not to be an idiot and do it again. And that's with growth and with understanding. So I thank God for this commentary. I thank God for you. You know, it's always we love you no matter what. So I thank God for being here.
Yes.
I would just like to. I just want to remind everybody that before people start expecting from someone else to pour into you, start pouring into yourself first. If you love yourself first and you love yourself and you know that you love yourself, you really ain't got to worry about too much else. Other stuff will come to you the way it's supposed to. You just got to love yourself first. As long as we keep on looking for that fulfillment outside of ourselves, we're always going to be disappointed. We're always going to be disappointed.
Wow. We all heard it first and heard it last with the Gardens. I agree. Jazzy Jace, are you there, love?
Yes, I am. I
Okay.
sure am.
Any parting words on the topic before we close out?
I touch and agree with Oz's statement. You know, getting to know yourself, being what do you call it, comfortable in your own skin, being able to share that with that don't send a representative if you're getting involved in a relationship, being able to be comfortable with enough with someone to tell your truth, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. The first thing we have to do is understand just how powerful we are as women, as Black women, as Black people. This beauty that shines from within us is keeps us all in the spotlight for all kinds of fucking reasons, you know, not always good, what we consider good. But I just wanted to say that when we speak about getting involved with others, we as a woman, as someone who truly does just kind of love my life and love the way things are going, I gotta be straight up with anybody I'm gonna get involved with. I'm going to communicate and be perfectly honest with what I desire in the relationship, and I would hope that they would be comfortable enough to do the same with me. You know, then we can get on with it. You know, we can get on with it.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree and co-sign to that. C. Marie, any parting words on the topic before we close out tonight?
No, I just want to say thank you for having me on. It was an awesome conversation as always. Good night.
I'm glad y'all all joined me because I know it was kind of a late show and it was kind of like improv. I was just sitting here watching the Breakfast Club and I was like, you know, let me go live and talk about this. So I'm glad y'all were here for it.
Child, you know you got the best conversation on YouTube. Stop playing.
I gotta let y'all say everything coming from me, so I gotta let y'all say stuff like that. I touch and agree. Yes.
Have a good night, and I can't wait to join the next panel.
You too, babes. Thank you for being here so much. I love you.
Can I say something?
Yes, of course. I'm about to get right to you, Ty. Yes.
Thank you. I just want to say that I just want to love on all of y'all. Y'all have been my saving grace. Conscious, reckless. I rewatched the video from yesterday, and yeah, my heart just went out to reckless. So I love you to life. I love all of y'all to life, and thank you all for letting me into your world. I appreciate it.
Thank you for letting us into yours, and we create a world together. Period. I love you, Boo. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
And Reckless, I know that you and your afro was hella tardy to the party, but are there any last words that you and your baby fro want to give to the
well, to be quite honest, from what I was hearing from the conversation and stuff was about DJ Envy and his wife that was going through it, and then, you know, Ms. Barbara came on, you know. But I will say this, one of the biggest things, someone did mention it before, is about communication. But however, another essential thing that I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about, and I said this before, is that also comes with comprehension. Because I can properly communicate all I want to my partner or to whoever. But however, if you're not comprehending what I'm just about the message that I'm putting down, doesn't matter if it's in Ebonics, doesn't matter if it's the grammar is completely correct. If I'm speaking English and you understand Spanish, then we're never going to understand each other. So
yeah, I think that that's a given too when people talk about communication. That obviously is inclusive of listening and comprehension for sure. Because proper communication includes both of those things, and I agree. Listen to understand, be present, be patient. Yes, we're all human, so even though we make hella promises to each other, human nature sometimes prevails depending on the circumstances and the variables. So there's a reason why we have to practice to a certain degree forgiveness. It's a reason why forgiveness is echoed throughout spirituality, throughout religious notions. Being human is very complicated. So that's the point of compassion and empathy and understanding and forgiveness. So your parents are flawed, your spouses are flawed, your children are flawed, you're flawed. It's all flawed. But long as we're actively working toward understanding ourselves and utilizing the tools to better that amplify our life and the quality of our life, then I think that we're all working with people who are really worth it, if they're really working at it. So never sit under a bum, never sit under someone who is a perpetual victim or a perpetual victim. But if people are working toward understanding themselves and striving toward necessary change, then that's what's really important. So glad you guys were here. I have to get the fuck out of here. Obviously, I'm sure infidelity, this won't be the last time we talk about it, girl. It's being committed every damn day. I didn't get to check my phone, so if any of you guys I want to say welcome to my new Patreon members. Love you guys so much. Y'all's subscription to my Patreon is allowing me to get the things that I need so that I can get back on my editing game and provide my pre-recorded commentary and my pre-recorded content and my hair reviews and all those things that I don't have access to because my previous MacBook broke down. But I took the resources from my donators, who are both my Patreon members and those who just donate whenever they're led to, and brought an iMac that will be here next week. And I will be able to be back on top of my shit and give you guys some other things that you guys have been asking for from the platform. So I'm really freaking excited, and I want to tell you guys, thank you guys so much. I could not do any of this without you guys. I couldn't have these panels without y'all. The platform couldn't be popping without y'all. It couldn't be informative without y'all. We couldn't be growing without y'all hitting the like button, without y'all getting the word out, without y'all sharing. So I just want to really, really, really thank you guys for making my little dreams come true. It means a lot, and that's why I put up with y'all for 5 and 10 hours out of a damn day at times, because that is just how real it is. I want you guys to have a great night, and I will see you guys tomorrow night. Peace in the Middle East.